Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, viewers. Good to have everyone on. We are live with Bayat Ghadeer today. And boy, do we have some heavy hitters on our show today. So this is obviously my first live feed. So boy, innit, don't judge it too much, innit. But obviously, hopefully, the people on the panel will carry me, innit. So, what are we here today? Just quickly before we start off, let me just make sure man's live. Yeah, I can see everything cool. Just quickly before I start off, what we're going to be doing today is a quick introduction first. Bayat Ghadeer, yeah, we've been off we've been off the hangouts for a little while now. Just busy doing other things. For those you know, they know. For those who don't know, check out my new video with Abu Layth, Mufti Abu Layth from Birmingham. Get me Al-Maliki. Got a Maliki on the panel as well today. So big up. And I had an interview there with him, and just check that video out. It's popping. That's just only part one. So get me, let that demand come out, and part two will be released as well. Been busy. Muharram's coming up literally in about a couple of days. Inshallah, there'll be some new videos going out for that as well. There'll be new lectures. Eid al-Ghadeer just passed. I also spoke and read there in a mosque. Inshallah, that will be being released as well within this week. So you got a lot of content coming for you lot. Inshallah, keeping you lot ready, keeping content coming to you. Speakers went this Sunday. I don't know how many videos come out of that, but yeah, sure you see Sayyid Ali and Hassan Bukhari giving a couple of Deobandi injections still. So check that out as well. So cool. So today, what are we doing today then? So today, we're here to discuss the aspect of racism and Islamophobia. The whole works, racism and Islamophobia, and how it's becoming common, and how basically we can see trends, and we need to put a stop to this quickly. The reason we're discussing this today, and the reason why I've decided to do this today, is because I can see a trend here, and it doesn't end well. Well, not for the Muslims anyway, and it doesn't end well for the colored people as well. So the point here is I want to kind of touch on both subjects, because it's not just about injustice. You speak about injustice wherever you see it. So whether it's to do with color, whether it's to do with religion, we need to speak out and discuss it. As I always say, especially being from a Shia background, if you don't speak about your narrative, they'll make a narrative for you. So it's very important. So I've got a lot of brothers here today. I've got a mixed selection of brothers here with me today. Alhamdulillah, I've got some brothers that are real that have jumped on today to discuss this. I've got some, as I call them, heavy hitters. I was expecting one more, but he got a bit shook. But hopefully he'll come back on another time. But we'll start off there. I've got brother Zaryab Al-Maliki. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks for having me on the show, my brother.
I thought I'd give you the Maliki touch, you get me? I thought I'd give you that. Make it clear, you get me? So yeah. So I got Zaryab. Yeah. I've got brother Ryan from all the way from Australia.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys?
Ya Mehdi Madad. You didn't say that. Ya Mehdi Madad part.
Yeah, Mehdi Madad.
What are you saying? You cool? Ryan, good. We had the hangouts for a little while Tuesday, so it's good you jumped on as well. I can see that beautiful green dome of the Prophet. So that's Sayyid Ali.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Sayyid Ali, obviously.
You can tell us a
little bit about your Deobandi injection sooner later on. Yeah,
thank you. Say thank you for having me on your show today.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Get me. I'm glad you lot can make it still, innit? This is my channel now, innit? Letting everyone know I took over, innit? All right, and you know what? I've got all the mandem and all the people that have been here before, but I've got a special guest. Man, got a special guest. I got this guy is basically, he's killing it right now, and he's being consistent. He's speaking truths. I got a lot of respect for the brother, and I'm just happy that he gave me the time to come on our channel. We got brother Rajiv that goes to the parked, i.e. blacked, i.e. staff man.
Easy. Yes.
What you say, Rajiv? Yes. You cool?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks a lot for having me on the show, bro.
No problem, bro. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for coming to our show, and happy to speak on our show and speak about these things. So yeah, man, we're here today. So you know what it is, Rajiv. You know what? As you're the special one, you're the special one. I'm gonna take it off because you know what? Just a minute ago, all of us, I don't know how many. I think I checked in. Zaryab checked in. I think Sayyid Ali Ryan must have checked in. Rajiv, you were definitely there. We've just got on a show from Titans TV and Kalam's, isn't it? So obviously I wasn't on the panel. I was watching because there was Bear Man on it as well, and it seemed like obviously Kalam was saying just keep the black people on. So obviously recently Tan's let me just set precedent. Recently, Tan has basically been using the N-word, against race as a racist term against black people. The Islamophobia was there from day about, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago. He threw the Quran on the floor. Again, this is very important. This is not about. This is the reason why I'm stressing that point. Is I'm not here to jump on a hype. I'm not here to jump on this hype where, oh, he's used the N-word, let me use that to my advantage. No, the point is that he's been doing things for a long time. Obviously, when he says the N-word, it becomes very broad. When it was about the Quran, it was only about, obviously, like Muslims will get triggered. Now he's taken it further. So he's obviously decided to go on and do that. And what's happened now is obviously he's come on Kalam's and Titans today, and he's carried on doing his nonsense. And a lot of brothers that were there, Jeddah was there, Rajiv was there, Bearman just walked off the show, bro. They're like, bro, I can't even deal with this guy. I can't even have an active intellectual conversation. So they've just left the show. So Rajiv was there patiently waiting. They kept talking, and I think in the end, like, I think you were muted for a hot minute still because he was just going on a little rant still. And then in the end, when you did go on, Rajiv, you didn't really manage to like really get it out, did you?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I understood why everyone left. For me personally, like, I can see where the conversation was going. I could see what Callum was doing, and I could see it wasn't about the conversation. It wasn't about the debate, and it wasn't even about people's safety or well-being kind of thing. It was about promoting Callum's show, and it was about promoting Tan's show as well. This is why he got such a massive introduction, and barely anyone got to speak. Now, everyone came on that channel thinking that they were gonna have a time to speak to Tan, basically debate him and basically pull him up on a few of his points. Callum did not want that. That's not what Callum wanted, and that's not what Callum basically stood for. So I believe if he was a bit more upfront and honest about his intentions beforehand, he would have had no one on his show, and he wouldn't have 600 people viewing his show. So I think Callum played a clever game. It paid off for him. He just got paid £50 or whatever. And yeah, we can see now that Islamophobia pays. It pays well and it pays high. Most people have to work a full day for that kind of money. He just got it from, hosting a racist. So,
No, you know what it was, man? Like, just like, the whole Inquisition, like the whole hearing him out, giving him time to kind of clear his name, like the whole panel and the way it was laid out. And obviously the whole, like, for me, it was very annoying, like, because when Callum was going through his website, I was like, bro, why are we going through this guy's website? Like, why are we promoting him? Why
Absolutely.
is it like, okay, you don't want to take the N-word as a racist thing. 2 weeks ago, he threw the Quran on the floor, bro. 2 weeks ago, he threw the Quran on the floor. Why is someone like that getting promoted? Why is someone like that getting spoken about? Yeah, we're going to speak about him today, but when I speak, I mean more in the concept of why are we honoring the guy? Why is he getting called the prophet? Yeah, there was bare viewers on there, but it was like Jeddah was saying. Jeddah was like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing here? Like, is it some conversation? What's the objective behind this? So yeah, it was all mad, man. It was all messy, bro. Like, it was hard to watch for me, to be honest. It was hard to watch because I don't know, man. I expected better from Callum. I don't know what was going on, bro. I'll be real. I don't know what was going on. So Rajiv, like, just taking it apart, like, as a start, Rajiv, Islamophobia is one thing, and racism is another. And we see this narrative being pushed on both things because I think Ali Dawah mentions it quite a lot, and he's got a good point. He always says, he goes, listen, like, Islam's first, but anyone who wants to back it, just know that you're next. Because it's like, this is obviously when you've got this narcissist, fascist type of, like, you're a narcissist or you're a fascist, what happens is you deal with ideologies or you deal with people. So eventually you're going to wipe everyone out. Eventually you just want your type of thinking. So what I'm trying to say is that they've started this process now where slowly dehumanizing Muslims, literally our prophets become astaghfirullah, like they can just joke around with him, joke around with our religion, throw the Quran on the floor, insult it, all in the guise of free speech, which Rajiv, I know you've got good information on. I know you know the subject about, the aspect of the laws in this country and stuff where, like, they had me fooled, where I was actually thinking, is this country, do you actually have free speech? And it's like, well, you do have free speech, but this country actually has laws. It's not so they've made it sound like their narrative is the country's laws, but it's not. This country actually has laws against this kind of stuff. So
absolutely. So
they've made it sound like this country promotes what they're doing, but it doesn't. So they've got
maybe Raj, if you want to start off there and kind of elucidate your perspective on the matter.
No, of course. Please feel free to jump in because I don't want to feel like I'm taking up space on your show.
No. You're our guest, man. You lot are guests. All you, I'm always here, man. You lot are the guests. So we'll go to you first, and then we'll go to brother Zaryab, and then we'll go to the Australian Ryan.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. So, like, even like you said, just encompassing the whole freedom of speech. There's freedom of speech within limitations, and a lot of those limitations basically surround themselves around looking after other people's human rights, meaning that you can't express a certain form of speech or form of expression that basically threatens the rights of other people. Now, for me in particular, like you said, Islamophobia and racism, they're two different things. I don't see them as two different things, bro. I see them as one thing. Like, whether or not, you're being racist towards someone's, well, not even hateful towards someone's religion, or you're being hateful towards someone's skin color, you're being hateful to a group of people and trying to deny them privileges. It is the same practice. It is the same methodology. There is no difference between Islamophobia and racism. The difference is that a lot of people now are jumping on this Islamophobia thing because they feel like they found a loophole in the definitions. They say that you can't be racist because a religion is not a race. Now, that for me should highlight just the ignorance and the stupidity of the people that we are debating with. Because if you read the definition of racism, ethnicity is included in that definition. Now, go further and have a look at what ethnicity means. You will find that religion is highly included in ethnicity. So even cussing someone's religion is absolutely racist. But we know this because you can't cuss Jewish religion. So the problem is, I see this racism going on in the park and I call people out on it. And Callum, you can ask him. I did an interview with him the first time I met him at the park. He wanted to do an interview. I pulled him up on the fact that he was speaking to Tommy Robson and he gave him a platform. And should he really be given a platform to racists? Now, he didn't believe me. And I said, I've got the definition right here. So I read the definition to him and he was like, no, it's different. You can't really be racist towards a religion. So I was like, do you want me to change it? Should I change it to xenophobe? And he was like, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. It's like, yeah, because xenophobe doesn't really kick off. But the truth is, Tommy Robson is a racist, and we need not bat around the bush. This guy is a racist. End of. Like, there's no freedom of speech to be had about it. If you are denigrating a certain group of people for a few bad apples, that's racism.
Well, bro, you know what? Straight fire. This is what I'm trying to say. Like this, exactly what you said, yeah, Rajiv, about whenever it would come about Muslims, it would be like, oh well, what race are Muslims? They're not. What race are Muslims? Muslims. It's like, oh, so that means I can just keep attacking. It's like that's their clause. That's the get out clause. Where it's like, oh well, what race are Muslims? So we can't really attack you because you're not a race. We can just continue doing what we're doing.
That's absolutely it. But please go on to Brother Zayab because, like I said, I just want to add bits and bobs here. I don't want to be the main person of the show. It's an equal platform. So please move on to the next guy and then we'll just carry on that healthy dynamic like that.
All right, then. So picking up where you left off, I think you mentioned Tommy Robinson, and I just wanted to throw some more like descriptive words out there. I think a lot of people are happy with, it's ironic that those who are calling other people low IQ are satisfied with low IQ words like troll. I think a better word for Tommy Robinson would be demagogue. DEMAGOGUE. And the definition of a demagogue is a leader who obtains power by means of impassioned appeals to the emotions and prejudices of the people. All right. And for someone like Tan, he's just a rabble rouser. He's not a demagogue, he's just a rabble rouser. A rabble rouser is someone or something that tends to inspire mobs, something controversial or provocative. And at the end of the day, this is what I think those definitions are apt for those two individuals. Like we've said a million times, no one's really interested in these personalities yet. It's the incessant access that these people have to media, and that's why we're creating our own narrative. And this is what it's about now. It's about us kind of opening up the conversation and exploring the inconsistencies. I think this has to be a theme of our conversation and dialogue today. Absolutely. The inconsistencies. And with that, I think I can open it up. And if you want to jump back in, Rajiv, yeah, carry on. Or Raza.
No, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I think you hit it like dead on the head. Like, I think it's called, hitting the nail on the head. But you're absolutely right. And this is why, differences aside, I rate Ali and Mo for having what they have now as their studio, because for a long time, people of color or just even religions have never had the platforms to address certain media icons for their inconsistencies. And because they didn't have that clapback, a lot of people are just taking this as truth. So you're absolutely right about having a voice on the mainstream that is basically refuting a lot of this. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so you know what it is. Also, just a quick update. Just want to big up Saracen for joining. Sarah 786. Assalamu alaikum, bro.
Wa alaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Saracen. Love for jumping on. What are you saying, bro?
Alhamdulillah, bro. I thought this is bro. That idiot was frustrating me, bro. I thought before I get triggered, I'm gonna jump off, man. I don't know how to get off that panel, man. So I don't give him time of day. I just power him off, as you know, Raza, innit? Power him off and dust, man. With idiots.
That was a real test for the brothers today. So like literally just listen to that and just everyone just dealing with it like everyone was just watching it like bro, like everyone just testing their patience. So like everyone just done their thing, man. It's good. But you know, I'm happy you've come to this channel now to do our thing over here and exactly what we're just discussing. Saracen, do you want to add anything to what you just heard?
Yeah, I just want to say that basically, I mean, I was defending Rajiv straight because I think, you know what it is? Who the fuck is Tan, bro? Sorry, stuff I shouldn't swear, yeah?
Yeah.
Who is he, bro? Like, for real. Like, why are people giving him, like, some sort of... His whole thing is that I'm some sort of big man. People are, like, the idiot, like, you know, the Islamophobes, the dirty, nasty ones that have got hatred in the heart, that probably don't like black people either. They're the ones that are too... like layman terms, they're too much of a pussy to say anything, but they've got a Chinese guy that's saying it. Now they feel like that guilt that what they want to say, he's saying it. So you've got him walking around and the people are taking pictures with him. But I think what I was saying on the show as well, Raza, is I think this is a lot more sinister, bro, because this guy isn't dumb, you know. People has got mental health. He hasn't got mental health. He knows exactly what he's doing, bro. He's been up and down Europe, and he's talked about how he's gone to rallies, how he's been to Germany, how he's been to places. There's a Islamophobic network out there, funded by the right wing, and they're trying to push boundaries. So you know this whole manifesto thing. What he's trying to do is the politician, whoever's funding him, they're trying to see how much they can get away with. How much they support he gets online under the guise of freedom of speech. So they're gonna push it because they know that there's a lot of disgruntled white working class people out there, and if they can push those narratives in their manifesto, real manifestos, then eventually I believe that this is the whole kind of thing polarizing. Because Anne-Marie Walters will get some votes, but she needs to know how far. She can't do it herself, so you got a little Chinese man doing it. You understand?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You know, as in all the points are just, you know what it is? It's just the way things are moving. It's the way everyone's very intelligent, everyone's very respectful, but when it just comes down to like, is it the hate of Islam that allows people to be like, you know what, I have an issue with Islam, so. Yeah, Tan, you know, all the ones that were saying, you know, remember, look, bro, man ain't no fan of Muhammad Tawhid, but the fans of Muhammad, the ones of Muhammad Tawhid, whatever he said, everyone was jumping on him for being racist, bro. But now it's like, and he said my t-shirt being black, and that wasn't enough to be, and that was enough to be racist. But now Tan's openly saying, and he's going crazy, and everyone's like, well, he didn't mean it. And it's like, wow. Like,
bro, I was there, isn't it? And you obviously, I'm not going to go into what happened between me and Mohammed Tawhid. But at the end of the day, I wanted Mohammed Tawhid to speak what he wanted to say. And at the end, like, you'll hear me in the video, you say, look, he said what it is. I don't believe it was a racist because he's contextualized it. We've understood what he's saying. This guy is openly saying, I'm a racist, I'm Hitler. And he's trying to make a joke of it, but it's not a joke. Do you understand? He's actually a racist. Bro.
You know, a lot of them are trigger words. So I'll give you an example. When he says the N-word, he's a troll.
Yeah.
When someone else says the N-word,
yeah.
No, bro, you're a racist, bro.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose.
When he says something provocative, oh yeah, he's just trolling. He's a prophet. When someone else does it, you're an extremist.
Yeah.
It's all about terminologies. It's very important, bro.
Yeah.
And with that, you know what? I've been keeping Ryan waiting for a little while.
Go.
Ryan, thank you for your patience. Go for it, bro.
I think I just want to hear some more about everything. I've got a fair bit to say. I might just wait. I'll let the other boys have another swing and stuff first, because you're
gonna give that mad swing at the end, yeah.
I've got a few things to say.
Go easy, yeah. Go easy, go easy.
I'm just going to sit tight for a little bit longer, and then I just want to understand the context of everything, because I actually have no idea about all this. Like, I have a little bit of an understanding. I haven't seen any of the actions that you guys are talking about.
I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you.
What's happened in Speaker's Corner and stuff. So I'll just sit down, listen, understand the context, and then I'll give my
That's fine. No, that's fine. Also, just brother, just to keep in regards to the swear words, let's try to keep it a bit clean, yeah? I know it's a bit hard at times. Let's try to keep it clean. So yeah, where was we? Yeah. So now, what I was discussing was the aspect of. So I'll just say, Zarab, do you want to say something, or should I just?
Yeah, carry on with the inconsistency, my brother, because you really, in another chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna
explain the real kind of difficulties that these people have put themselves in. These free speech advocates. That either way, they're in a double bind. Either way, they're in a tricky situation. But I'll let you express it.
No problem. Okay, let's get into that. So look, free speech. Look, let's link it to Islamic. Let's link it to some Islamic sciences. Yeah, methodology, manhaj. Yeah, as they say. So you have a methodology. You have a process of doing things. If you're consistent, I might disagree with you, but at least I can respect it because you're consistent. The methodology that we see is, before it was, well, you know, the word, whether it's the C word, meaning, you know, coon, whether it's the N word, these kind of words. I only said that first word because just so that everyone knows what the C word is now. So the C word, the N word, these words were basically, they're wrong words, and they're not able, you can't even use them because obviously they're racist. So the method, you can have two methodologies now. What are they? You can have the methodology of you use those words, no matter in what way you use them, just don't use them. Don't use those words because they are racist terms. Those words should not be used. That's one methodology. The second methodology is you can use those words, but when you use it, it's all about context, and the context will decide if it's racist or not. So there's the two. Is everyone following me? Everyone sleeping?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, cool.
100%.
So there are two methodologies. Now, now generally what we've seen from, you know, the far right, the whole Tommy Robinson hype, that crowd, yeah. What we've seen is from the people that obviously have this issue, that seem to be obsessed, they have had this issue of, well, these words, free speech advocates. And whenever someone from, and remember, I want to be consistent here, especially for myself, and the brothers on this panel tend to be as well. We're all cool with that. That we are not here on some sectarian thing where I'm going to now back Shias or I'm going to back Sunnis. I don't really care who it is. If it's wrong, it's wrong. So if there's, you know, extremism from any side, we're going to deal with it. So the point here is that if someone from the Muslim side that says something which is wrong, the other side says, listen, they've said this word. So they've said the C word. So Ali Dawa, Hijab, Omar, they said the C word. Yeah? Okay, cool. So now that word is basically considered bad in itself, according to that methodology, where, look, you can't use that word. It doesn't matter about context. You can't use that word because it's a racist term. Okay. So now if that's the case, and that's the methodology everyone's on, and that's why everyone's jumped on it and called them racist for whatever thing they've done, the point here is that when Tan has now said the N-word, now Tan has said the N-word, why has the methodology suddenly changed? Why are we now looking at the context? And why are we now looking at what does that word actually mean? And let us break it down. Because the previous methodology was just based on, no, you've said the word, that's enough. Now you're saying we need to look at the siyaq, the context, the why it was said. What was it, general? Was it? So we're looking at loads of different things now. And I don't mind that, because I personally incline towards that view where you should look at context. Where I don't believe you should use the word, but if someone does use the word, you shouldn't straight away call them racist, because you've got to look at context and what they're trying to say. Like Mohammed Tawheed's thing, like, was quite simple. He wasn't being racist. That was just him trying to say, oh, well, you Kalam, you're not representing. I know what he's trying to say. So my point here is that with Tan, you suddenly flipped it and said, no, look at the context, no problem. That was the first strike. Second strike was that now if I'm going to accept that, now basically you're finished. Do you know why? Because the context of when he said it, I'm going to give you the context, because guess what? I've got Rajiv here. So in Rogers on his guy Manny, I think his name is. You were on their live show, innit, Rajiv? Because everyone keeps saying, "Oh, but I don't really know what happened." When you were on their live show, Rajiv, what did he say to you?
So we were on the. Are you talking about the Rod stream?
Yeah, the live stream when Tan was racist to you.
The first one.
Oh right, yeah. So I wasn't actually on that stream. That was just a stream between them two as like individuals or whatever. And I happened to be informed by a fellow YouTuber that, they were talking about me. So I was like, all right, no worries. And then he told me, oh no, you really want to see this? So I was like, oh, okay, no worries. Went over to the stream now, and it's the usual typical, oh, he's wearing a black hat. I'm like, all right, cool, it's nothing new. So then obviously I hear Tan saying, if he's if he's not a low IQ nigger. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the kind of person that you're supposedly dealing with. Now, for me personally, the N-word, I've heard it here and there. It doesn't necessarily bother me. But the first thing that clicked in my head is that I wonder what the response is going to be with Tan in comparison to the current situation of Mohammed Tawhid. That was my first response after that.
Now, Rajiv,
and then,
I'm going to stop you there. So what he said to you, Rajiv, was, oh, who's this? Or what? He's just a low IQ N-word.
That's the context. Yes, that's the context. He said if he wants to come out and destroy me, I don't know what that means. Good luck to him. But he wants to come out and destroy me. And if I knew what was good for me, if I wasn't a low IQ nigger, then I would move out of the way or some sort of, I don't know.
Bro, I'm finding that hard to listen to. Brother, I don't know about you, bro. You know what it is? Even though we're not black, yeah, it bloody hurts though, innit? Like, you know what? Because it's so wrong, bro.
Oi. EB made it. He made it. Assalamu alaikum, EB. He's breathing, right? He's getting the courage. Don't worry, he's gonna talk soon. Don't worry, I'm gonna get him out.
I just want to add to Saracen as well. Like Saracen, it's the same thing. If you've got some kind of moral decency, like even when he threw the Quran on the floor, for me personally, that got my heart pumping more than the N-word. Personally,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the Quran, bro.
But before we move on, I wanted to add a little flavor and spice to it as well. You see, with the incessant attempts at dismissing Tan as being a troll or as being a character, it was exposed today. The skirt was lifted, okay, because the guy himself was on the show. The man are trying to laugh it off. The so-called free speech advocates are trying to laugh it off and say, "Oh, he's a character, this or that." But he's clearly stating, "This isn't a joke. I'm not a character. I am racist."
I remember Ezra.
So the question is, now what?
Yeah. Hello, can you lot hear me?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, EB.
Salam. I just wanted to say something.
Go for it.
Like, the only question I have is, there are experts at Speaker's Corner in spotting racism. Experts. When it comes to racism, they are experts. So how is it that a clear, open racist you happen to miss? How did that happen?
100%.
You are an expert at spotting racism. That is your job.
Thank you.
Right? The other people you managed to nail down with a sniper. Bang, bang, bang. All of them racist. And I'm like, you know what? You lot are good at your job. But a guy who's actually got a website on racism, you happen to how? Like, please tell me, how did that happen?
Is it one of those ones where you're sniping man from like he's about 1,000 meters away, but the guy that's next to you, you're saying, "No, he's cool."
No, but what I'm trying to say is this is your expertise. Your expertise is actually spotting racism. How did you actually miss a whole website?
You know what? Let me just continue that point, yeah, because Rajiv, I want to stay consistent. Rajiv gave me the siyaq now, the siyaq meaning context. I got the context. He blatantly was in a derogatory, like nothing. There was no what's the word that he? What was it? What was the thing that he read out today in speakers? That thing that you call it, the
manifesto.
Manifesto. There was no manifesto. It was just straight talk. In that talk, Rajiv must have got involved, and he went boom. You're just I'm gonna destroy you. You're just a low IQ, whatever. Boom.
No, it's blatant that he's threatened because he said if he tries to block me, then
yeah, cool. So now we know the siyaq, we know the context. Now he's used it into derogatory method. So remember, two methodologies. One methodology is you just use the term. And then you've got to look around and find the different avenues or the contextualization to find out what did he mean by it? Was it racist or not? And the other one is, no matter which way you say it, he said the word is racist, and you shouldn't say it. Regardless, you shouldn't say the word anyway, but they're the two. Now the point here is, no matter which one you go, if you say, no, I'm changing methodology and I'm going by the context methodology, and that was more in the context of he's trying to thought provoke your mind, and he's trying to say, look at my manifesto, and you're not thinking, no problem. Rajiv one catches you out. If you're on the other methodology, you get caught out anyway because you can't use the word anyway. So regardless of which methodology you're on, you can keep, no matter who wants to shift this way or this way, you get banged either way. Do you get my point? Because Rajiv's one, I'm not going to let go. I'm not going to let Rajiv's one go.
Solid.
That one is clear. Yeah? So that was my point in the methodology. So that game, that time game is over. That he's a racist. That game's over. Because that, and the thing is, the person's channel who it was on, I think it was Mani, Raj, they took it off straight away. They took it off because they knew it was a hype. Because I went on the show and I blasted them for it. They knew it was a hype. They took it off, and then now Raj said to me in the park, the reason why he took it off was because Manny was scared he was going to get a strike. But I was like, but Raj, you believe in free speech? He's like, no, I only took it down because of the strike. So, boy, I'll take his word for it. That's what he's saying. He goes, Raj said if it was on his own channel, he would have kept it up. Okay, that's fine. If he's being consistent and he wants to keep it up, keep it up. But just know that Manny decided to take that down.
Well, I just want to point out, like, Manny, I'll even give a little bit of respect to Raj, because Raj, when he was pulled up on it, he called it out. He was like, I don't agree with it. I condemn him for it. Cool. Manny in particular for taking it down, I'm sorry. He will never be able to speak to me about freedom of speech. Never.
Yeah. Cause the thing is, yeah, because apparently he said something like, I don't want to get a strike. So what, and like, now that I've told you about
I was just going to say, like, it doesn't matter, like, whether or not it's about the strike. Like, bear in mind, these people are coming to the park saying all manner of things, knowing that they can get arrested, but they're doing it to say that free speech is not free in this country, and they're trying to demonstrate this in the worst way possible. So when he's saying, I don't want it up because I don't want to get a strike, your kind of like ability for freedom of speech is rather lax, bro. It's when it suits you, and that is a clear demonstration of that.
Can I ask you something about that as well? For me personally, I said to Raj, bro, I can't. You know what? You might have called it out and you might have condemned it, but then there's something more than that. You can't just say I condemn it and then bumlick the guy, at the park the next day, do you know what I mean? Or just laugh at every single joke that he makes. When you really condemn something and, it's consistent, you kind of free yourself from that. You understand?
Yeah.
So he does it regularly, like, I condemn this, it's not me, I don't like it. But then ha, and then make fun of Pakistani people, which I think is bang out of order. And then, but the thing, what question I was going to ask you is about Manny. Because Manny Sinder, I can't work him out, bro. Because he doesn't say much when he's on the chat, but then he makes all of these kind of videos about Sikhs. He says he's not very religious, but then he makes Sikhs and the British and.
That video, is that the video where the Sikh soldiers are like the
Guys,
but the thing is, but it annoys me because it's not. In the world, obviously, my grandfather fought in the First World War. And the Second World War, and his brother died in the First World War, bro, for Britain and stuff like that. So for me, it's like you can't be just taking out the Muslims as well, man. It wasn't just Sikh soldiers. There's a lot of Muslim soldiers.
It looks like it was, bro. It looks like it was just Sikh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? It annoys me.
Do you mind if I add just a little bit, because I might be able to shed a little bit of light onto this, just in the sense that, like, obviously the way Raj is conducting himself and the way Manny's conducting himself. Like, so when I first kind of came onto Speaker's Corner, right, I had what I believe was a Sikh girl, right? And she took interest in the conversation because she works in that kind of like industry of child abuse, etc. Now, the video she sent me and the information she sent me, it was a long bunch of like things that basically wanted me to realize that there's a little bit more to the spectrum of child abuse. I'd already read most of it because I'm already informed on these subjects anyway. But the content that she later kind of like rallied to me were YouTube videos, and a lot of these YouTube videos have to do with the SAS, and I'm not too sure if you're aware of what the SAS is. I think it's called the Sikh Awareness Society. Now, I watched the videos, and for me personally, like I can spot radicalism for, you know, radicals from a mile away. I know who is vulnerable, and I know who kind of like is trying to preach a message of like indoctrination. And for me personally, if you go to this SAS website, you may as well be on Britain First website just for Sikhs. Like their mentality seems to be that Muslim men are grooming Pakistan, not Pakistan, sorry, grooming Sikh girls, and that's all that's happening. And basically, they're taking an allegiance with Tommy Robson's side and all of these like racist hooligans, etc., to basically tackle this issue, not addressing the issue that's at their front doors, which is the majority of Sikh girls that get abused are by Sikh men.
Should I also
Basically,
add to
peddle
that? Should I tell
around
you
it.
something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about the SAS, because I'm aware of whatever they are, yeah. I've dealt with these sort of people for years, bro. Like I've been around since the 90s, you know, with the Sikhs and the Muslim gangs and stuff like that. I've dealt with it. A lot of Sikhs, they don't really like get involved. Like they've got over the world, the partition, they've got over that kind of thing. I've got a lot of very decent, good Sikh friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like proper respectful ones, yeah. But then you get, you know, like every community you get like the chavs.
That's it.
So
That's
you get
it.
like the chavs, like you get Pakistanis that don't like Sikhs. But again, you get a lot of Sikhs that don't like Pakistanis. Some of them have had a bad experience. And to be honest with you, some of them have like, you know, within the gangs, like obviously Pakistani gangs run Oldham, they run Rochdale, Bradford, Luton, and stuff.
Absolutely.
So it just happens whatever's around, they're gonna go for and stuff. And some of them they have pretended to be Sikh or what have you. But for them, bro, it's not about religion. It's about they're just disgusting individuals. But these guys have caught onto that. So if it wasn't that, it would have been Muslim something else. And now they've been used as tools by Tommy Robinson and the far right.
Absolutely.
Which is dangerous, bro.
Justin, how can I go on their live chat? Listen, I didn't know about Raj like this. Now when I see him, I need to have this conversation, bro. How can man go on their live chat and Raj is saying Pakistan's a shithole, Pakistan's a toilet, Pakistan's this, Pakistan? I'm like, bro, first it was Muslims, now it's Pakistan. Like what is going on here, bro? Like you're on the chat.
Hold on, I don't understand how they've got so much kind of enmity for Muslims when it was the Indian state that ran upon their holy place, like for Sikhs. It was the Indian state that destroyed their capital.
Yeah, 1984.
And I wish I was there in that convo. I'd have been like, Raj, you're saying Pakistan's a shithole. You do realize a lot of your holy sites are in Pakistan. Sikhs visit Pakistan every year, bro, to visit their holy sites. A lot of their gurus' remnants are in Pakistan. They're not right now. Also, in terms of the Sikhs, Punjabis, and Pakistan, bro, if anyone who's following politics generally, the governor of Punjab has made a big stance in Pakistan. He's come to Pakistan and basically been very good with the Pakistani people and the government. He's gone back and the Indian government has slated him. And he's basically back in Pakistan saying, listen, I've gone there for Imran Khan's procession speech. I've gone there to help Imran Khan because he invited me, and I'll go again. So the Sikhs Raj is misrepresenting the Sikhs to a new level. Right now, there should be good relations. Him as a governor.
Yeah. See, that place is called Amritsar.
Yeah. The governor of Punjab came to Pakistan just for Imran Khan.
Okay.
He went there and he's basically extended a handout, and we've extended a handout. And our army services actually said to him that we're going to open a special place where the Sikhs want to visit for the gurus. So meaning we're actually doing well with each other. And you've got people like Raj coming in on their live chat saying Pakistan's a shithole, Pakistan's this. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's the.
He's feeding into the nationalist narrative, and this is the problem.
And you know what? Let me tell you the most funniest thing. Let's get stats now, yeah, because this is Pakistan. Pakistan, 60 to 70% are Punjabis. Now what? 60 to 70%.
There's more Punjabis there than there are in India, bro.
There's more Punjabis in Pakistan than India. Now what? So anyone that's an anti-Pakistan kind of thing, well, guess what? 60, 70% are Punjabis, bro. Now what'd you do? So the only thing that separates us and the Sikhs the Sikh Punjabis is the religion. The culture and the ethnic group is the same. They're both Punjabis, bro. So what is this? Like what is this?
Raza, let me ask you about Raj, yeah? Because I give him the benefit of the doubt because I
normally do as well. I normally do as well. I'm surprised about
bad experience. No, but what I feel with Raj is he had bad experience and then he's come across Speaker's Corner and people have been like horrible to him. Fine. I tried to change his heart because I feel like there might be a good guy in there. But then when he goes, and I know he suffers from autism, which is also like, it's not nice. But, but then he's also, Raj isn't dumb either. Raj has got a good, like, personality, he's got character, but he's just like, he doesn't want to know the other side. Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
sorry, Saracen. Who suffers from autism?
Raj, he's a fantastic. If you see his pictures, bro, there's something on a different planet, bro. But
yeah, they are amazing.
He's bright. He's quite bright, but he doesn't like want to know. And the thing recently, what he's been saying is about Pakistani. There's a whole town called Shadola, which is rat people. Blah blah blah. It's because of you inbreds, and he's constantly doing these. And they're racial slurs.
Racial. It's
racial slurs. But brother, let me finish this point. Yeah, Shadola, bro. The people on there that he's talking about. They actually, bro. They're actually disabled people, bro.
Yeah, they have abnormalities.
Like, you don't make fun of like people with Down syndrome, so why are you making fun of these people, bro? I actually feel sorry for them, and obviously this is just some of these thieves and these people are using it for their own benefit. They're abusing these poor people, yeah. But they're disabled people who are in wheelchairs or whatever, and yeah, their face might look like a rat or whatever, but you shouldn't be taking the piss out of that. That's wrong.
No, but what's funny though? Who just because he's brown or Asian, he thinks he can basically be. That's a form of racism as well, You're just because you're brown doesn't mean you can start basically saying, "Oh well, Pakistan, like, oh yeah, they all marry their cousins, they're all inbreds." What is this? What are you doing, bro?
But this is it. Let me jump in here and kind of try to explain why it is that this is happening. I think I mentioned in the other chat how there are attempts being made there are attempts being made at bringing in conversations and arguments that are firmly in the quote-unquote alt-right.
I can't hear you properly, bro. I can't hear you.
Hey, am I coming through clear now?
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah? Okay, so what I'm saying is there are attempts being made at bringing in conversations and arguments that are firmly within the quote-unquote alt-right of the spectrum, on the political spectrum, and they're being brought into let's say African broadly and Asian communities. Okay, and so the question is, and this is what I'm seeing, it's like a race. So certain people are racing to be the first to leave and turn their backs on who their people are, in order for them to kind of be champions or bastions of this new narrative. So this new narrative basically makes use of terms like virtue signaling, right? So basically, Raza, what you said there about, even if you're brown, you can't say these kind of things. They would turn around and say that that's virtue signaling. So what's occurring is that this is social engineering. This is what I'm saying. We are in the midst of social engineering where the conversation paradigms are being redrawn. Okay, this is what's happening. This is my analysis of the situation right now. So what's happening is that all these norms and these normative values that we've kind of accepted and kind of agreed upon, right? They're being questioned. Like someone said earlier on the panel, that I think it was Rajiv, he was saying that basically these free speech advocates are trying to show that the UK doesn't have free speech, right? Which is an ironic statement, because the social contract dictates that there's freedom of speech within limits. And that's why you cannot be anti-Semitic. Okay?
Yeah, you can't. Exactly.
So the irony is when, okay, so whenever the Jews are brought up, the counter arguments are that, oh, well, they're organized, they do things legally, they go through the proper channels, they do for self and so on and so forth. So what's the problem? Okay, let's accept that at face value for a second. Yeah. So then what's the issue with someone like Imran Khan going through the UN and going and attempting to prevent people's honor being affronted?
You know what? This part that you just mentioned now, yeah, like I'm seeing an attack on Pakistan. I'm seeing an attack on Islam. I'm seeing an attack on Quran. I'm seeing an attack on people of color. What is Nazism? Does Nazism come to mind? What is this? Like what's like, you're making a group of people, you're making them alien discriminate, making it normal knowledge that you can basically keep mocking them, to basically alienate them. Eventually, this is why I'm now saying, listen, if we don't do something now, it's going to be too late, because I can potentially, I don't want to say this, I don't want to go that way, but I can potentially see our community going the same way towards what they've done to Jewish people. Do you get it?
Yeah, it's true.
And by that time, it's too late. Dehumanize us by that time. So what I'm saying is, what Zaryab just mentioned about Imran Khan, you know, there again, this is just a side point, but it's a very important point, because actually, you know what, it links in well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is closer to our souls. He is our master in this world and our master in the hereafter. He is our everything. Rasulullah, what they do is, in a country like Imran Khan, a country like Pakistan, Imran Khan, what he's doing is he's going through the legal services, the legal routes as the prime minister of the country, and he's actually doing things correctly. He said, I think it was the Netherlands that were making cartoons, were trying to mock the Prophet, and he said, listen, we're going to deal with you lot properly. We're not going to do what we normally do and get emotional and start burning your flags. No. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the legal route. I'm going to advise every Muslim country in the world that you lot should do the same thing. We'll get to the UN and we'll try and get this passed so that blasphemy laws are applied. Now, guess what? Raj said, oh, this cricketer, imagine that, he's calling him just because okay, everyone that knows a little bit about our Pakistani politics, Nawaz Sharif, Zulfikar, Nawaz Sharif, Zardari, these people are like corrupt to the bone. I'm talking about someone like Imran Khan's come. The first thing he done was he said, I'm going to talk to the poor people. He started amending his policies for poor people. He spoke about working hours, increasing the work hours. I'm talking about economically, he's putting in work. He's trying to change policies. You know what Raj says? Raj goes, this cricketer, rather than look at his shit country, rather than look at his poverty.
Rizal, don't miss out the point that he even stopped first-class flights as well. So there's no.
Imran Khan basically said, listen, I'm going to have a guest. I'm not going to have this big palace anymore. I'm not going to live there. I'm going to have my own small house. I'm not going to go on this first-class flights. He flies in economy class himself. He said, I'm going to get rid of all the expensive cars that these people used to have. Meaning he's like, I'm not going to be a king. I'm going to be a ruler. I'm going to rule, but I'm not going to be a king. He changed up the whole game. What does Rod say? Rod says, you know what this cricketer is doing? He doesn't bring up none of that, by the way. Rod says, you know what he's doing? Oh, he's going to the UN to try and get cartoons stopped. Hold on. The cartoon is our issue, bro. He's our president. It's our people. It's our prophet. If we want to get it stopped, what is it to you?
Fuck.
If you want to continue drawing cartoons, go for it. We're going to go through the legal route and get you stopped. So what's the issue? You see, the issue is
it's clear. And I want to just add a parallel in what's happening in Ethiopia. You see, this is the central argument in the bigots, right, and the so-called free speech advocates is that, oh, look at your countries, they're shithole countries, right? That's what they like to say. I mean, Tan exactly used those words specifically, regurgitating what Trump had already said, right? Okay, so their argument is that they're shithole countries and that their leaders are corrupt and so on and so forth. Pull up yourself by your bootstraps and so on. Okay, so you've just told me what's happening in Pakistan. That's all well and good. You're well placed to tell me about that. Now I'm going to tell you what's happening in Ethiopia. Okay, so in Ethiopia, we've got a new president, all right, a new president and a new prime minister. And this prime minister, Dr. Abiy Ali, has made inroads towards the development of Ethiopia. How? First things first, he went to Egypt, right? They had an issue with Egypt due to the Grand Renaissance Dam that's being built in Ethiopia. And he had an agreement with them. And not only did he make the agreement and kind of settle that border, but he then managed to release prisoners, Ethiopians who were in Egypt, right? He got a presidential pardon for them from Egypt and then took them on his plane, on the presidential plane, and brought them home to Ethiopia, all right? So he's made peace with Egypt. That's the northern border, all right? So now the southern border with Somalia, what happened? He invited the Somali president into Ethiopia and they had a sit down and there are inroads, peace and stability. That's the first step before investment and development can occur. So that's the southern border sorted. Then you've got the eastern border. So you had a situation between Ethiopia and Eritrea where it was a 30-year war, right? A civil war that absolutely destroyed the region. But now what's happened, right? We've rose above it. This guy, that's all it takes. It takes one actual leader, you know, not a stooge, not a puppet, but an actual leader who's from the salt of the earth, who's from the people them there, right, to stand up and change it. And so what he did, he made peace with Eritrea, right? He's opened up the borders. He's started off trade again. So this is monumental seismic changes that are occurring on the world platform, on the world stage. Okay. And so people have to really keep up with the conversation, keep up with the arguments, because at the end of the day, if we keep being reactionary and looking at what these bigots and free speech quote unquote advocates, because these same people who are calling for human rights and these same people who are calling for rights and so on and so forth are the same people who are calling for the invasion of Syria, the same people who are calling for the invasion of Libya. These are the humanitarian interventionists. Do you know what I'm saying?
Zara,
So,
can I
like
just
I say,
add?
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish, man. Go on. Sorry, I
So,
thought you
like I
were
say,
go.
there are changes occurring on the world stage, and I'm going to pick up on this later because Tan mentioned another thing, which was the One Belt, One Road. He mentioned it in reference to the anime One Punch Man, and he was like basically that. Oh, at the last season, the last episode, it talks. There's a part where the One Belt, One Road ends up in Mecca. So that's something I'm going to touch up on later because
What
the One
is
Belt,
that,
One
Zilli?
Road.
I don't know what that
I'll touch upon this later. I'll let Rajiv jump in and we'll talk about that later.
Mr. Black, go Rajiv.
No, I just want to say again, another brilliant point, just in the sense that like you're keeping up with the affairs of your, like, you know, the home country, etc., and seeing where there is progress. And when people do come up with stupid talking points, you're able to actually turn around and be like, "Whoa, this is the case." And you will find that a lot of times, and I know this is why a majority of the comment section does hate me, is because I don't stand for that as well. When these people come with these talking points, I have talking points to address them, to be like, "Whoa, that's not exactly true." The low IQ, etc. I have arguments to refute these around the clock, day in, day out, and that scares the shit out of them. So
Actually,
I
give them a
agree
little
with your
taste of
message.
that on the topic of low IQ because that was branded about a lot. So give them a
Yeah.
little 1-2 punch.
Oh yeah, I'll give you an example of that. Would be, let's say, even the whole black IQ thing, right? They love to talk about how blacks in general have very low IQ, and this is why Tan is speaking this point. It's just a speaking point that basically arose from the KKK, David Dukes, etc., taking it from certain experiments that have been refuted already. So one of the examples that I commonly bring to them is that if that is the case, then can you explain to me why Africans are the highest educated in America, in the American state? And they don't know this. They don't know this. It genuinely shocks them. They turn around and like, no, they're not. I tell them, 43% of African people are educated. African immigrants are educated in the United States. That's higher than Asian immigrants. Asians, who we consider to be the smartest, higher than white people. And they have to Google it. And when they Google it, they're shocked and they're dumbfounded because all they've known is basically crumbled. So when you come with this information and you come with these refutes and you come with all of this information that basically challenges their worldview, that's when you start getting the hate. That's when you start getting the more racist rhetoric. That's when you start getting the more reactionary things. For me personally, Tan's reaction is nothing new. I can explain that after a little while. Remind me to do so. The way Tan is going, I can explain as to why that is right now. But I just wanted to add on your point.
Yeah, they got their little WhatsApp groups. They've got their little gangs that they all jump on at the same time. And in the comment section, they try to influence people.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you again. This is just a little thing now. Yeah, this is nothing to do with Shia Sunni, but I need to get this out. For about since we've come to the park, yeah, and since we've having our own intra issues, yeah, which we do, and that will continue. That's just how it is, yeah. The point is that these lot have been, you know, like, oh yeah, Shias are cool, and that's no problem. Fine, we're cool, but they've then so we're cool, but then they continue to insult our figures. So you can't keep saying we're cool and keep insulting our figures. It doesn't work like that, bro. They're my figures. They're more loved to me than my parents. You can't keep insulting my figures and keep saying I'm cool. You can't keep insulting the Quran and saying I'm cool. Shias are cool, but the Quran's this. Shias are cool, but Allah's this. Shias are cool, but the Prophet's this. I don't care if you're following the Sunni narrative. I don't care. I really don't care. The point is, stop insulting my people, bro. Because you're insulting the people that I look up to, my masters. and you keep saying that to me. So this narrative, this is why I've decided to do this show. And I guarantee you now, even when I started talking to when I went on, I think, Rob's channel, I had comments saying jihadi Raza. I was like, huh? Suddenly,
I saw that.
You lot, check this. How funny is this? Suddenly, the Shia Raza has become a jihadi. Why? Because I said stop insulting my prophet. Suddenly I'm a jihadi now.
It's true.
What?
Guys. So, what is the solution for this? Because I mean, we've been going about what they've been doing generally, but what's the way forward from here?
I'm trying to make a point here about the concept of that the people that think that, you know, they can say things like this, they're only. I'm trying to stress on the Rajiv point as well, that they're only cool with you if you say their narrative.
100%.
Try and have a difference of opinion and see how much love they show you then.
100%. Like, I have the same thing, Raza.
They're gonna blow on you as well now.
They say, oh, you know, Saracen's cool, Saracen's sweet. Oh yeah, because obviously, because I speak from my heart, bro. Whatever I feel is the haq, I'll speak the haq, bro. Whether it's Shias, against Wahhabis, against Sunnis, against whoever. If you know, whatever I feel, I'll say whatever's on my mind. You know what I mean? And then yeah, it's cool. He challenged Muhammad Tawhid. Ha 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 ha. You know, end of the day, Muhammad Tawhid's still my brother. You know what I mean? I'm gonna correct him if he's wrong. Blah blah blah. You know, but you know, when you say something about the Prophet, the Quran, any of my brothers, be it Shia or Sunni, Wahhabis, whoever, bro. I'm gonna speak my mind, and so if that makes me a jihadi, call me.
If that's your definition of if that's your definition of extremism, then boy.
But their opinion don't really account, does it? Because a lot of them are they haven't got a lot of confidence to even come on the chat. They can't hold their points. So you know, some of them are like 2 or 3 accounts.
No, but you know the best example are people like us and Rajiv, is that the minute, you know, you have a narrative that's like, well, not thinking with theirs. It's like, well, Rajiv must be Muslim. It's like, why? Why is Rajiv Muslim? Like, why can't Rajiv just have an opinion that at times agree? I'm sure at times he'll disagree, but at the moment it's agreeing.
Absolutely.
So, okay, what's it? You know how much hate Jedi gets in the comments? Wow.
They're nasty, bro. Don't. You know,
buzz on Jedi. You know, they buzz on Jedi. Why do they buzz on Jedi? Just because he doesn't agree with their narrative, bro.
No, it's true. They're nasty. Some of them are really nasty. Like even with Muhammad Hijab, whatever. If you don't disagree with Muhammad Hijab, obviously we disagree with Muhammad Hijab.
Same people that
bring his family into it and shit like that, bro.
Same people that were calling Muhammad Tawhid racist are now saying, and Muhammad Tawhid said my black t-shirt, are saying, and Tan is going N. They're like, he's not racist, and you're like, wow.
No, but they're laughing. They're trying to laugh it off.
He's a troll. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So why are you changing? Why does he become a troll? Oh, he's Malaysian. Oh, okay, cool. He's Malaysian.
Yo, guys, can I just I was just gonna add to I can't remember who basically brought up the whole having a solution thing, but I think we've spent more than enough time, not on this chat, but let's just say people in general, people of color in the corner, right, have spent more than enough time trying to understand these people, trying to talk about basically why they're doing this, etc. At the end of the day, we're all going to come to the same conclusion. It's hate, it's money, etc. I think what this guy is saying in terms of finding a solution is now where we need to have the conversation, because I see a lot of Muslims in the park, right, and they come to have genuine conversation, and even other people who aren't even Muslims, they've watched my videos and they're like, you know what, I used to not want to come to the park because of all the aggro, but since I've seen you, I've seen that there's a little bit more of a calmer talk going on. Now, for me personally, I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree, but I think you guys need to have a consensus where people that you identify with, whether that's Muslim, whether that's black, etc., just don't give fuel to stuff like this anymore. There has to be a universal consensus where if Tan comes to the park and he does his speech, if Raj comes to the park and has a meltdown or whatever, you just ignore it. Because we're adding...
Rajiv, do you know what the problem is?
No, you can. It's a BTS thing. You know, we've already got BDS. So it's time for BTS.
You don't know. I wish in an ideal world, I would 100% agree with that. But the problem is you got little narcissist Muslims there that love the camera. You got people
I was just about to...
that's the problem, bro. And then you got young ones that have watched it on, and they've made their trip down to Speaker's Corner for the day, and they feel like they have to be like little Muslim Rambos, where they have to challenge everyone and they get angry. and then that footage gets used. You're right, 100%. I don't even give these idiots time. Like, I parted off Tan every time I come across him, but at the same time, you know, you've got people who are loving the camera, bro, and they're swearing at each other.
Don't be a hero, bro.
You know what I'm talking about.
You are,
you know who I'm talking about. So.
No, you're absolutely right, Saracen. And one of the biggest issues, I think last week I had a conversation with, everyone's going to know, but Omar, I had a conversation with him. I pulled him aside and I said, brother, the first time I met you, I knew you were a fiery person, but they are going to use you. You are going to be the person that they use to start off everything that happens in this corner. Don't be that guy. You really need to calm yourself down. And, you know, I'm not saying change your approach. Do what you do. Be fiery, but just stop getting into fights and stop giving them reason to have footage online.
Same thing to him.
You know what? I actually congratulated him when I just went last week. I was like, you know what? I actually congratulate you because when he actually threw the Quran on the floor, you held your own, bro. That was a big show of patience from his side, you know.
Big show of patience,
Absolutely.
but at the same time, he shouldn't be around him to give him that opportunity.
Yeah. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do now? Yeah, I'm just gonna mention two things. First of all, we, alhamdulillah, at the moment have about 90 viewers watching, and true say, man, just looked at the likes. I see about 6 likes there. So let's not be stingy and let's give up the likes. And if we're doing good content and we're talking sense,
Smash that like button.
Say that again, yeah.
I said, smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Hey, man sounds like I'm hosting shows now. Smash that like button, man. There's about 90 viewers. Let's smash it up. And you know those ones where what did normally man say at this time? If there's 100, the man will just carry on and do another show tomorrow or something. No, those ones where man I do, but I probably won't. Just smash it up, bro. But listen, what I'm saying is that look, smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, do all the thing. We're gonna continue now. Now, what was?
Can I just get there quickly? Sorry, Raj. Sorry, Rajiv. I just got a quick question, bro. What's your background?
Yeah.
What's your ethnic background?
South African. My dad's Congolese, but I'm South African.
Oh, mashallah, cool, man. We got a very mixed cultural group today, eh? I feel like I'm in the
right, that's all me, bro. Right, that's all me bringing that. You get me?
Yeah, bro. I feel like I'm in the setup to a joke. We've got 2 blacks, 3 packs, and a Cracker Jack all on the
Man didn't even prepare that. That's it.
Nah, bro.
I heard it. Is that the intellectual Ahmed on that?
Hello. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, bro. Man just rolled in with our invite.
Making a black man blush out here, bro.
Man just rolled in with our invite. Man just Ahmed, you been listening to what we're saying, yeah?
Nah. What's good? What I miss?
Well, we've been discussing this whole Tan situation. Ahmed, just hold on. Literally, just hold on 2 minutes. I just want to get Ryan involved in this, and I'm going to go to you. Ryan, give us your...
Of course, brother, of course.
Wait, Ahmed, where are you from, bro?
Huh?
Where are you from, Ahmed?
You want to go at the end of it, Ryan? You wait, man.
No, wait, I just want to... Ahmed.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah, cuz.
Somali.
Somali, brother. Somalia.
Yeah, okay. Now 3 blacks, 3 packs, and a Cracker Jack. It's the rhyme's working every time, bro. Sick. So I was getting scared there when I heard Ahmed. I thought it was an Arab. He was going to rot my rhyme scheme. That's all good.
No, so you know what I'm saying is that also just a quick thing there is that one thing that's very very weird that I found, you know what really annoyed me and really got to me, what woke me up here was when man threw the Quran on the floor, and till just right now, man them are calling him prophets and bigging him up. Like he's getting bigged up. And he threw the Quran on the floor. Where anyone who respects someone's religion or respects intellectual discussions will not stand for that, bro. And man, them are just still cool with the guy. So I can't deal with that, bro. Where next man's throwing my religious book, and now everyone just still cool with the guy. Like, oh yeah, Tan the Prophet, Tan's Malaysian, Tan's not racist because he's Malaysian. And Raj was making a 4-hour excuse where he threw the Quran because Tan was trying to say that he cares about the wording and it's not about the book. I was like, bro, stop playing games, bro. Just allow these games. You lot are taking a piss. That's what it is.
See, they tried to say we're backward. They tried to say we're backward if we say that we respect figures like prophets. We respect people, holy, sacred things of people, be it Muslim, Christian, be it Sikh, whatever. Yeah, we respect that, and that's the way we should be in society. And they say that we're bigoted. Oh, they want blasphemy laws. They cause all this hoo-ha. But at the same time, these guys are extremists. This is what I call them: free speech extremists. Don't say absolutists. They're extremists.
Extremists.
You
That's
gotta call it. You gotta
Absolute.
call them for
That's a
what they
good
want.
term. That's a good
They
term.
want us. They want a society where you can do what you want, say what you want, but they don't understand its ramifications. There's ramifications. Now, here's the thing: what they usually stop at is we stop at where it goes to violence. We don't believe in violence because a lot of you guys are pussies. That's the reality here. You know, you want to say what you
That's
want. You don't
it.
want to get banged up for it. Fine, no problem.
That's it.
But here's
Why do
where
you
you get
think?
them. Here's where you get them. I want everyone to remember this. This is where I believe it's a little racist as well, because they know when they draw cartoons of the Prophet ﷺ, they know somewhere in Bangladesh, somewhere in Pakistan, India, Africa, people are gonna die because whatever the reality of the world is, a lot of places in the Muslim world, people do get emotional. You know, they will riot, whatever. They don't give a shit if those people die. They
Absolute.
don't care because their lives aren't important. Oh, the Muslims should learn
This
how
is
to
it.
behave themselves. But you know that
This
they're
was.
not going to behave themselves.
Oh, you know what? Just before I forget, wallahi, before I forget, on Raj's live thing on that channel, on one of their videos, I think it was Raj or one of theirs. That guy Hassan goes, I think in the video Hassan goes that Turkish guy, he goes, I hate all Muslims. He just goes, I hate all Muslims. Imagine that. He just openly says it. He goes, bro, I can't even lie no more. I hate all Muslims.
What do you do? What do you do with people like that?
I see your true colors.
That's what I'm dealing with right now. So just as my thing before thing, they threw the Quran on the floor. Next man still being cool. They're calling him prophet, still bigging him up. It's become clear what it is now because the people that are bigging them up, people that are still cool. When Tan does it, he's a Malaysian. When someone else does it, he's a racist. When Tan throws the Quran on the floor, he cares about the message. When someone else does it, as in just stop. It needs to stop, and the inconsistencies need to stop. And I'm not even interested in like the Sunni Shia stuff. Always is going to be there. But what I'm caring about is there's figures that we love and respect. If you can't love and respect that, and you want to consistently go for them, then well, there's distance in it. There's distance.
This is where we have to unite.
You know what?
We have to unite as Sunnis. Well, just one thing, as like obviously I've
Go,
got
go, go.
fair love for my Shia brothers, yeah, and stuff. Obviously, and then the man's call me a Shia as well. I don't really care. Labels don't really bother me, yeah. But this is where we have to unite. This is where I tell my Sunni brothers, whatever sect you're from as a Sunni, you know what I mean? People are disrespecting our Prophet ﷺ. People are disrespecting the Quran, this, that,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other.
But
We
we've
have to
been
unite
doing
on
this.
that.
This is the point. There's been a lot of work here, and we've seen the fruition of that work in the link up between Bayt al-Ghadeer and Mufti Abu Layth al-Maliki. And that's the fruition of that work that's going on in the background. And that's just a kind of that's just
The surface, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The reality is a lot of us as Muslims, as concerned Muslims, are going above and beyond in order to kind of get rid of the ignorances and the jahiliyyah, the ignorances of the past, and working towards dialogue. That's what we're doing, right? Like, so it's not at the behest of anyone else. There's no way that anyone else can get credit for it. It's because we're courageous enough to stand up and do the work and do what's necessary in order to build these bridges. And that's what's most important.
100%. Just one more thing now. Justin, brother Rajiv, could you just give us a quick breakdown of the actual laws, or if someone else knows, the actual laws in UK in regards to this? I'm asking you, Rajiv, because I know you're that man with the law. You got a law degree or something, because every time there's law, you're just there, bro. What I'm saying is, like, just wanted to know what is the actual law in the country, because they've got us confused, bro. They've got man thinking, maybe you are allowed to say it in this country. Do you get it?
Yeah, no, I understand that. And I think it's one of those things where Wikipedia is your friend. Like, as much as people say what they have to say about Wikipedia, but understand that Wikipedia, it sources its stuff, it cites its stuff. If you click on the little numbers above the sentence or whatever the information that is presented, it will take you to the source, and that will basically justify and basically citate your source. Now, for me personally, it's one of those things where I didn't know the law completely when I first came to the park, but I was like, nah, this doesn't make any sense, because if this is the case, more people would be a bit more openly racist, because it wouldn't affect their kind of like their lifestyle or their earning potential or anything like that. Now, for me personally, I went to Wikipedia to find out the definition. The definition of freedom of speech. So, freedom of speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or a community to articulate their opinion or ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or sanction. The term freedom of expression is sometimes used synonymously, but includes an act of seeking, receiving, or imparting information or ideas, regardless of medium used, right? So that's the basic kind of like a definition of freedom of speech. Now, the problem is these people seem to stop right there. They don't really read on to understand that there's limitations, that there's themes, that there's theories, etc. So I believe it's John Stuart Mill. Sorry, stop me at any time. Stop me at any time.
Just like the extremists do when they quote verses of the Quran, when they read up to a little bit, they go and do their thing, but they don't carry on. Same thing. Carry on, Rajiv. Carry on.
Absolutely. Now, there's this gentleman, I believe his name is John Stuart Mill, or John Stuart Mill. Yeah, I believe it's John Stuart Mill. But he basically created what was called, I believe, the harm principle. And the harm principle basically kind of like embodied the limitation that is the speech should not really infringe on someone's rights, and that was the philosophy at the time. So they applied this philosophy to the Freedom of Speech Act, because obviously, again, you cannot have a right that infringes on other people's rights. Otherwise, what's the point of having that right? Now, obviously governments and other companies started putting more kind of limitations because governments have classified documents, they have black ops going on, so they have an interest in concealing certain free speeches or whatever. Now, this has never been a problem until now, where everyone's calling Muslims like bigoted because they don't want blasphemy laws or etc. Right? But you'll never find anyone talking about Edward Snowden, who basically told everyone in America that their government is spying on them and breaking their the right to their human rights. And you'll never find anyone speaking about this, and he's been banned to Russia for the last 5 years. But this is not the kind of concept these people want to champion freedom of speech for. They want to champion freedom of speech to be able to insult. Now, let's go and have a look at if they have the ability to insult. And I believe there's a gentleman named Joel Feinberg, that's German name. He then rallied the offense principle, which basically complemented John Stuart Mill's theory of hurt, and basically said that he set the bar too high, which didn't allow basically for anything that would cause psychological harm or something that was just downright offensive to the public morale. Because freedom of speech may be coming out in public and exposing your breasts, and if you're a religious person, that offends your sensibilities. And most of the countries back then were very religious, so that would have offended the moral kind of sensibility of the whole public. Now, John Stewart's offense mirror basically argues that there has to be good intention. There has to be an ease in which offense can be possibly avoided. So it means that you have to try and articulate your speech in the best way possible to not cause offense. And obviously, again, like I said, good intention. So there are limitations, and these are stated in Article 19 of obviously the bear with me, the International Declaration of Human Rights.
Right.
That's the one, Universal, UDR-HR, and that's Article 19. They can go and have a look at this.
19 of the Universal
Declaration of Human Rights.
Everyone memorize that. Everyone memorize.
So when you bring this up to people, right, and I've brought this up to Rob and various people who are, like you say, free speech extremists, right? And I tell them that there are limitations. I state to them the limitations, and then they turn around and say, well, it shouldn't be like that. And I say to them, well, sir, you have the available avenues to go down to change the rulings yourself. You can submit a report, you can submit a thesis, you can submit a dissertation, but none of them are willing to do the work.
Here we go.
They just want to think. Go on. Sorry, go on.
When you get them to that point, that's when they'll come out and they say, I don't agree with it. Sir, we're not concerned with what you agree with. We're concerning the law. We're talking about what's the law. Because so first of all, we've got to, because you lot keep saying, oh, you're Muslims, you're not following the law, you're trying to follow your own system. First of all, can you first define what the law of the country is? Because you've got us confused.
Raza, I qualified in law, and I've just sent you something on your WhatsApp. I don't know if you can screen share it, bro, because I think we need to go through this as a panel, and the people who are watching can see how Tan has blatantly broken the law.
Absolutely. I mean,
but
Saracen,
I
just
really
to
want to
further
emphasize. I want to emphasize your point, Rajib, of at the juncture where you disagree with the current status of the law, it is incumbent upon you to go through the proper legal channels in order to
Absolutely.
change those laws. And this is the thing, you know,
100%.
this point can't be overstated, because it is the argument that's flung in the face of Muslims that you can't have a separate state of law. But the point is, what they're doing instead is trying to change the conversation and trying to rally up. And this is the point. This is why I describe them as rabble rousers and demagogues, because these are ancient tricks that have been utilized in society, in quote unquote democratic societies, all the way from ancient Greek to now. That's where those words come from. So it's the same old tricks.
No, so you know exactly what you're not saying in the panel. So now that he's explained it, just a quick point. When you
don't you think we can change the law, innit, bro? Because we're citizens of the country. Surely, if we're born and raised there.
No,
like
you're missing the point. I'm saying for them, they're the ones that have to change the law.
I know. I'm just getting the point out. So for people who are listening, we are going to change the law. If we feel that there's a law that's discriminatory or is outdated, as citizens, we don't need to ask anyone's permission. We will change the law. We will do it, and like you said, we'll do it through the correct methods.
Also, Saracen, can I just point out? Can I just further add to your point in particular about people knowing these offences and knowing the limitations of these offences?
Yes.
Because for me personally, I could address Tan, and I could tell you the psychology of Tan. It's not impressive. He's a guy with parental and mommy issues. I could go so deep. No insults. No insults. I'm being
Go in
serious.
now. It's that time,
For
because you
real.
said earlier, remind you. So you might as well do it now.
Let me just get this out, and then I'll go into the psychology of Tan.
Go on.
So in terms of the reports, right? For me personally, I've had enough. This is not conducive to the park, and it's toxic. So I've written up a report, and I've basically cited various YouTube links and various videos, etc., highlighting where he has broken the law and where he has overstepped his freedom of speech. And I'm going to present this to the police and the right authorities, and I'm going to make sure that they at least know that he has overstepped his mark in Speaker's Corner. And they either need to step in now or don't blame anyone else when something does happen. Because they've had the warnings, and the police were there when his speech was being read.
Can I stop you there, though, bro?
Go ahead.
Because I believe that the policing is so bad at Speaker's Corner, and I believe, and I'm going to be very frank with you, and I'm saying this live on air. I think it stems from that Steve Bannon, who whatever his surname is, who's heading it. You cannot ban Muslim prayer because someone makes a complaint, but allow racist remarks like that to
absolutely
people. You can't. And then when Muslims get frustrated, when Tan's saying, I'm going to say something even more aggressive this week, I'm inviting the gang, you know that's a recipe for disaster. You know, you've had inadequate policing, especially obviously in the evenings, etc. You know that this is, they don't care. And you can't say, dismiss things when, that's the problem. Now, there's a video on content over everything where the head of the police, who you're going to complain to, Steve, he goes up to Tan. He goes, be a bit more subtle, okay? Be a bit more subtle. I'll send you the video. He says that at the start. So he knows what Tan's going to do, but he's allowing it.
Sorry. I absolutely agree.
So we have to complain to the Independent Police Commission because, I'm sorry, he's not policing the park correctly. I had an incident where someone blatantly threatened me. It took him over 10 days to get through to me and call me.
Yeah,
he doesn't care.
No, absolutely, but I think it's similar. It's similar to Grenfell in a way, and it's really tragic that we even have to get to the point of Grenfell for any action to be taken. If there are complaints and there is an abundant amount of information that basically the police have access to, right? Then they have no excuse when something extreme happens. I'll give you an example. An example was this week in the park, we had a lovely message spray painted on Speaker's Corner's floor. And this message basically threatened the Dawa team and basically said to Muslims that if you do not leave, you will all be killed.
No way.
Now, did you not see it? It was on Mr. Ripster's channel. You can check on Mr. Ripster's channel. They basically, they covered they covered the whole thing, right, before midday. Now, as to why it hasn't blown up, I don't understand, because if that was in reverse and they were saying that they were going to kill all, this is basically, the path that you walk up into Speaker's Corner, like that little path with the trees, right? just before you get to where the Nation of Islam normally talks.
Yeah.
That's where it is. If anything, the spray paint will still be there this week. Like you can't get rid of that color. Do you understand?
Whoa,
But they had to cover up.
whoa, wait, those guys still exist?
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Evidently, yeah.
Oh, what the hell? All right, go.
Yeah, so basically, they have an abundant amount of information saying that there is a threat towards people in the park, i.e., particularly Muslims. And there needs to be an abundant amount of historical information that basically gives them no excuse to turn around and say that we did not know that the threat was this big. Similar to Grenfell, they cannot turn around and say we plead ignorance because we didn't know, because the complaints were there. So I know it's not going to make any immediate change, but you need to understand how important it is that the authorities who do not act now are held accountable later if something extreme does happen.
Bro, you know what? I can't believe that. Like, if that was, like you said, man, like, even these things, me not knowing about it, like, you know, if it was anywhere other way around or whatever, it would have just been blown up. This is my issue, bro. I'm trying to come from a position of consistency where, trust me, I've done my fair share of calling out extremists from the Muslim side. It's pretty much what I've been doing since I come to the park. So trust me, I've done it. I've been there, I've done it. So let no man say, oh yeah, look, why is he? I'm saying, look, I'm trying to call out from both sides. When I'm seeing it from your side, you're not doing nothing, bro. Do you get it?
But this is it. Me, you, and Saracen were on a stream only like the last week, basically calling out the other side for not calling out the violence on this side.
Yeah.
From what I know, no one in the park has ever threatened all non-Muslims in the park.
No.
With death, anyway. With death, this is the first threat of death in physical manifestation that the park has ever had. But no one is speaking about it. Rob will not speak about it. Raj hasn't spoken about it. None of them will speak about it because who is it targeting? Muslims.
Yeah.
And they only have one culprit for that. Islamophobes.
You mentioned something key there. You mentioned about you mentioned earlier that when you finally got to the conversation with Rob about that law that you mentioned, was it Article 9, Section 19 or something? When you finally got there with Rob, he says to you, well, I don't agree. That's the answer.
Absolutely, yes.
Basically, this whole thing is just basically them going against the law.
No, absolutely. And this is why I believe police reports are the thing, because we do have people who are running very lawless behavior and conduct in the park. And for me personally, it's one of those things I like to come to the park and have productive conversations. And not all of them surround Islamophobia, etc. So when I do see people that are acting lawlessly, right, and trying to incite other people to act lawlessly, all I can do is basically ask the law to intervene. Because I know personally, if Tan walks up to me, he will get a punch in the face.
No,
that's it. Like
human nature.
Human
nature, innit? It's human nature.
No, it's not even about human nature. For me personally, there's no speaking to the guy. So if the guy wants violence, I will give him violence. It's the same with James Goddard, who came, I believe, 2 weeks ago. The guy didn't want to have a conversation. He tried to act like a man. So I treated him like a man. And I said, let's step out the park. If you want this, you want this. Like, I grew up in East London. We don't deal things normally by talking. So the fact that I'm even speaking to you
Big up East London. Big up East
is God's grace.
I never knew you're from East. Big up East. Big up East. I got a lot of man.
Big up East.
I got a lot of man them in East still. Big up East. Big up East. You know what? And so Saracen just sent me something. I want to share with you. Look, can you not see this by any chance? Can you not see my screen?
Yeah, bro. That's it.
Oh, Saracen, tell me what you want me to check in this because it's a long article, bro. Where's Saracen? Saracen? Where is he gone? Is he there? Saracen?
Give him a moment.
Cool. So,
sorry, bro.
I'm trying to show you Abu Layth's interview still. Yeah.
So this is basically guidance for the CPS when they're deciding whether to prosecute.
Wow.
So it's basically someone, if you, me, any of us make an allegation that Tan has made a racist remark that's breached the law, I don't know if you can zoom in. The police have to flag it. They have to. They have to flag it, and it has to be considered by the CPS. If you read early on in the introduction, bro, I don't know if you can.
I can. Yeah, introduction. There we go. Boom. So, this guidance sets out the factors to be considered when reviewing cases and prosecuting offences classified as racist or religious hate crime. It also addresses the approach to be taken in other cases where race or religion are a factor. Here we go. prosecutors familiarize themselves with stirring up hatred on the grounds of race or religion. The hate crime material on the Knowledge Hub and the hate crime page on the CPS website.
Yeah.
It is essential that the CPS identifies all those cases that might properly be prosecuted as specific racist or religious crimes, or where evidence of such hostility can be put before a court when it's decided sentence. Does this sound like TAN to me?
Yeah, exactly.
The CP's use definitions agree with the National Police Chiefs Council to identify race or religious incidents to monitor any incident crime which is perceived by the victim or any other person to be motivated by hostility or prejudice based on a person's race or perceived race, or any incident or crime which is perceived by the victim or any other person to be motivated by a hostility or prejudice based on a person's religion.
There you go.
Or perceived religion. Wow. Wow.
So what we need to do together, and this is going back to Sayyid Ali's point, yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to be at the park this week, yeah. But if someone can print that off, and take that along with footage of, obviously, I'm going to put something in the chat. I've got a whole list of his remarks, and Rajiv, if you're going to go there, add that to your kind of thing where he talks about he was going to masturbate on the Quran, astaghfirullah azim. You know how he talks about terrorist beard. He goes, you got a terrorist beard, about what he's going to do. Go back. There's a whole host of it, and then it's got a clip of PC Steve Barnes, who heads the park, saying, "Just be a bit more subtle, yeah, ha 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 ha," and they laugh it off.
Yeah,
that is not acceptable.
You know what? This is gold. This is gold. What you've given, man. This is what I'm trying to say. They're making it sound like what they're following is the law. We're following the law, bro. What we're saying is the UK, alhamdulillah, the country that we live in, the UK in England, they appreciate our argument, not yours.
Yeah.
The England's with us, not you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna come with my English flag. I'm English.
And the thing is, what I'm worried about, bro, is we're gonna get young youths that are gonna do something to TAN or do something to one of these lot, and they're gonna get a criminal record. They're gonna and it's a waste of a life, bro. It's
Absolute.
A waste of, and as responsible, I would see us people on the panel generally a little bit more educated because maybe we've got more life experience, yeah. But it's our job to protect them. They are our people.
Crime and Disorder Act, yeah. Offences of racially aggravated crime based on offences of wounding, assault, damage, harassment, threatening, abusing behavior. Did he not threat Rajiv? Did he not threaten Rajiv?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can definitely view it as that because he said he supposedly is going to destroy me. Now, if you again read Freedom of Speech Act and the limitations, there's a certain element of it that's called fighting words. Now, that's self-explanatory. Fighting words is just threatening any form of violence, whether that's verbally abusive or whatever. So the idea that he's going to destroy me, which I would love to see him do, but the idea of it,
if it's nice to destroy you, bring that stick, man.
Oh Lord, believe me. Again, people like Tan. I'll explain the psychology once Saracen has given us the the lowdown and whatever. But we can go into the psychology of Tan just because I feel people deserve to know what they're dealing with before they actually kind of engage with such an individual.
No doubt. Look at this. An acts as a racial group means a group of persons defined by reference to race, color, nationality, or ethnic or national origins. Now, when they're talking about Pakistan is this and this group of Muslims do this and all they do is marry their cousins and it's a shithole, what are you doing?
Yeah. There you go.
There's so many different rulings that there's so many different things. Look, they talk about legal rulings that Sikhs can be included as a racial group. Yeah, I remember that. True. So sometimes they put people that because Sikhism is very interesting because Sikhs is a religion, but they've been made into a racial group. Look at that. I've studied that before. So the Act defines a religious group as a group of persons defined by reference to religious beliefs or lack of. This includes Muslims, Hindus, and Christians, and different sects. So sectarian hostility is also covered by this definition. Again, this is all for those people that are in sectarianism, Sunni Shia stuff. So there is so many laws in this country that, alhamdulillah, takes into account these things. Yeah. So the law's with us. The law backs us.
But what's going to happen, is that you're going to go and report it. It'll go to Steve. Steve will call him in. Come on, mate, sort it out. And they go, okay, I won't do anything. And then he'll do it again the next week. He knows he's got 8 weeks or now he's probably got about 3 weeks left, and he's going to say whatever he can say in that time, and he's looking for sensationalism. Now the problem is these are going to have long-term effects in our country, because you're going to get a lot more people copycats. You're going to get people who feel ennobled to speak out.
He's trying to set trend. He's trying to set trend. I know exactly what you said. He's trying to set trend. You know what? Just before I get Ryan on, because it's getting a bit late now, we need to wrap up soon. Jacob, I haven't even welcomed you yet. Assalamu alaikum, Jacob.
Walaikum salam, bros. Great show. Been a banger. Been a banger.
Jacob, so we can then go to Ryan after you.
Yeah. So my issue is, right, that these guys were all about the same, you know, freedom of speech, absolutism, and all this nonsense rhetoric. By this freedom of speech, absolutism, should I also be now allowed to spread ISIS propaganda, radicalize anyone I want? Is this what your freedom of speech, absolutism is?
Exactly.
Good point.
If this is what it's used, I don't want to be in this type of country where you guys want to be able to radicalize the youth, because as we know, the people who go to these countries, they come back. They come back and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even read the Quran. I didn't even know what I was doing. This wasn't for me. So it's very dangerous, this route they're taking on. And this whole, this double standard where they have, where if you're attacking the religion of Islam, cool, that's fine. But now don't come and say nigger this, or, you know, the N word. Don't say this, don't say that. It's not cool.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
No, but throwing a book on the floor is knowledge, right? So I've been asking these guys, throwing knowledge, is that okay? They're like, no, but he's allowed to throw a book because he's bought the book. I'm like, listen to what you guys are saying.
I actually don't know if he is allowed to do it, because he's doing it. If you look at that act and you look at hate crime, I think there's a potential hate crime that might have been committed on that one. You know?
Saracen, you're absolutely right. Just in the sense that, again, it talks about the intention, and again, the kind of like I guess the potential to cause kind of like moral ill or moral offense kind of thing. So you're absolutely right. This is one of the things I dotted down in my report. He's breaking the law. It's that simple.
No, but boys, as a human, right, and from our ethnicities, do you not think we should have respect for knowledge in general? So if you see another man throw a book on the floor, that to me is just wow, and people are just watching it. So I'm honest, I am so grateful that I was not at the park, because if I was at the park, I don't think I would be able to control myself.
Bro, I'd get this. I would be vexed if it was the Bible, the Guru,
exactly, any book, bro.
Gita, any of those books, bro.
No, but realistically, you could throw any book. He could throw Origin of Species. Obviously, Quran and the holy books have more symphony with me, right?
Yeah.
But he could throw Origin of Species and I'd be vexed. The way
but the origin of species isn't sacred to most people. I'm talking about sacred things. It could be even like a Jewish skull cap. If he did it with disrespect and to do it, it's a religious crime, potential religious crime.
Guys, I just want to add like a little bit of an analogy, just so that we're not even humoring the fact that he's doing it out of freedom of speech. You have various kind of like colonial examples of when they kind of like burnt people's books. Do you know what I mean? And that was to basically get rid of their history, get rid of their culture, and to denigrate the people that they were basically making subservient to them. So within freedom of expression, there still is immorality. So it's one of those things where this country only supports freedom of speech with a good morale, basically, to further kind of like a social conscience. What he did was not doing either of the two. Do you know what I mean? So even then, sorry, go on.
As you have this conversation with them, Rajiv, they just say we disagree, don't they? They just say, oh, well, we disagree with that.
You gotta call them extremists, bro.
Yeah, and that's fine. But then the argument then becomes, you need to go and see your MP. You need to go and lobby. You need to go and do what you need to do to change the law. If you're not happy with the way it's set up right now, then go and change it using the necessary mechanism. Because this is the point. You can't have it both ways.
The British government is not doing this for Muslims. This is just how they are.
Precisely. Now, there's no way, unless you're a conspiracy theorist, and Muslims somehow control the government. You get me? They're not doing it for Muslims, are they?
They're doing it to be fair. They've got laws. They've got laws. They've got order. They've got a system here. It's you lot that want law of the jungle, not us. You lot want law of the jungle.
The irony is that they blame Muslims for wanting Sharia law in the UK,
and exactly.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's like we want our own law. oh, but Muslims can't have Sharia law. What? Move, man.
No, the point that Jacob said as well really kind of illustrates the hypocrisy embedded in those so-called free speech advocates, because no one, and this is the brilliance of the argument, no one would accept that. No one would accept extremists to spread their propaganda and their ideology in our society at all. We definitely wouldn't accept that. So the fact is,
No.
if the fact that argument can be made, it just shows you the fallacious nature of that argument.
100. So you know what I'm going to do now in the panel? I want Ryan to come on because I don't know what he's got planned for us, but he's got me itching to hear what he's got. And then we're going to get a final round. We're going to get the final thoughts from everyone. If anyone likes to add something, let me know. But Ryan, we're going to go to you now. And then after that, we're going to go step by step by each person. Yeah?
Cool. Thanks, bro. Hold on, let me turn my video on.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Game on.
Okay. So, hold on. Assalamu alaikum to everyone again. So I now understand what's been going on in Speaker's Corner and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm in Australia, so you guys are all talking about UK law and all this kind of stuff is not really relevant to me. But the greater picture, obviously, is. I've got a fair few points to make. One point, I'd say, I'll start with the positives. So the positive thing about this video being done is that it's brought Muslims from different backgrounds all together to argue the same point or to fight for a common cause. And that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? When any human beings do that, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so that's great. I love that. You know what I mean? Not only that, but it's brought people from different races all to come together and have a chat as well. Okay?
Absolutely.
So these are positive things. When it comes down to what's been happening over in Speaker's Corner, when you have people saying this or doing that or whatever, I'm not going to say their names because I don't think they deserve for me to say their names. You know what I mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in the Quran, you know, when you can, I think it was something along the lines of, you know, those that are beloved by the most, merciful the most. So when the Jahils speak harshly to them, they respond to them with words of peace. Okay? And that's something I do. So a bit of a background check with me or I'm talking about when I talk with like Kafirs and stuff, right? It's different when we have like polemics and stuff between ourselves. It's obviously from 12ers, we have a very strong stance, a lot of us, when it comes to our history and etc. But when it comes to I'll explain my background. So I grew up white boy in Australia. My family's, you know, it was all right growing up, all this kind of stuff. But I went through a really bad, rough patch and stuff as I was growing up. You know, I've seen, you know, mates die in front of me. I had only one auntie died this year. I was sitting there at a deathbed. I have another one. I was there, luckily enough, just the moment she had an aneurysm, no one else was home. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of messed up stuff in my life, right? And
sorry to hear.
Nah, bro, that's all good. Things happen. So, you know, I studied criminology at university. I've, you know, been around the block. I've traveled around my own country plenty of times. I've been around. I know what the crack is here. I came to Islam not through people, but by myself. I have 88s in my family. If people don't know what an 88 is, that's a neo-Nazi. Okay? I grew up not having a problem with Islam because I didn't really know much about it. First time I read the Quran when I was like 16, but I read it like I just did any other book. I just read it like a whatever. Okay, then later on in life, I had two friends that became terrorists. One died in Syria, and the other one is now in jail, thank God, because he was planning to chop someone's head off. Those two encouraged me to learn about Islam and try to figure out. At the time, I had Islamophobia, and it was based on fear. I was completely concerned based on two real life situations that happened with me, people I knew. I wanted to get rid of it. But that was based on ignorance. You know what I mean? So it's not so much that I hated Muslims. I just hated this ideology because it scared me. You know, ignorance can fuel hatred and it can fuel fear. So, so I studied it, but when I actually started studying it, I realized that the problem really wasn't Islam. The problem was Muslims. It was a lot of the time it was just Muslims doing the wrong things.
Absolutely.
Okay, and making Islam look bad. So when it comes to some little spastic doing some spastic stuff in a park over in the UK, I honestly don't care. I don't care in comparison to the bigger picture of things. When you have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rajiv, you Muslim?
Getting there.
Okay. We have 6 Muslims on the panel, right? I'm the only one that's from a arguably privileged family, like in the sense that, you know, I'm not from an immigrant family. I'm not from a not fully developed country. You know what I mean? But in the same time, all your countries, you've got kids in your countries that are getting killed by terrorists, getting raped, blah, 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 more so than over here. Rajiv, you've got South African background, yeah?
Yeah.
Cape Town's got a murder rate that's like 61.5, which is double the national standard. You've got brother Zaryab from Ethiopia. I've met so many refugees and immigrants that have come over from Ethiopia because of internal conflicts. You know what I mean? The boys here, most of them from Pakistan. And look at all the crap that country's been going through the past 100 years. And for me, the way I see it, as I come to Islam and stuff like this, Muslims are supposed to be the pinnacle of society. We're supposed to be the ones that everyone looks to for guidance. Just as Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, you know, he went through so much crap. And of course, he's going to care if someone's throwing the Quran on the ground and all this kind of stuff, and you should care. But at the same time, we talk about, you know, there's drawing Muhammad competitions and there's this and all this kind of stuff. But people in the West have been drawing pictures of Nabi Isa alayhi salam this entire time, and no one says a damn thing. Just the other day, I saw someone with a picture on their Facebook page of someone booting up Nabi Isa alayhi salam, astaghfirullah. No one says a damn thing, never heard a damn thing. He's our prophet too. And what I'm really annoyed about is this tribalism that's crept back into Islam, into Muslims. He's our prophet. There's no one else's prophet. He's our prophet. They're all our prophets, man. And we're sitting here, we're talking about freaking some Indian dude talking crap as well. I don't care, bro. There's kids dying in Yemen. I don't care, bruz. I don't care if everyone in this panel's feelings are hurt or people in the park's feelings are hurt. I don't care. I used to be homeless. We got kids, and I've got kids in my country that are sleeping on the street just like I used to do, and we're talking about a friggin' book being thrown on the ground, bro. I don't like what these assholes are doing, bro. The pathetic waste of time. The waste of time. Boot them out of the park. What you guys did, we came to a solution. Go to the authorities. We live in a Western country. The authorities usually do stuff. In comparison to the countries that you guys or your families come from, we can fix it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, Jew, non-Muslim, whatever. If someone's doing something illegal, report it, get it over and done with. Sorted.
That's it.
I think that's what we're discussing here, bro.
I know, bro. That's what we've come to the conclusion.
But a lot of people
we've had no, bro. Listen, we've had what? There's been 3 panels in the past week or 2 about all this talking and stuff. I never want to hear that little douchebag's name ever again.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I never ever want to hear his name again.
This is it.
Right.
Can I quickly,
what it was, it was Muslims that gave him the attention in the first place.
That's it, man. That is
stupid,
it.
dumbass pricks. They gave him attention in the first place and built him up. And then because he got the fame, because the Muslims, the dumbasses, the assholes, there's no right wing, left wing, guys. This is red team, blue team bullshit that, excuse my language, that is used to trick people all the time. And it's being used back on us because people are hungry for views. They're hungry for money. They don't give a crap about anyone.
That's it.
And because they were so selfish, this idiot has been risen up and they've been promoting him. And that's it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it,
Ryan,
bro.
Ryan, can I just make a quick point?
Yeah.
Is my voice coming through?
Yeah.
See, I just want to make a final. I mean, because I've been listening to your brothers speak for quite some time now, and I think all of you guys have got valid points there. But the bottom line is whether when it comes to Islamophobia, whether something is televised or something printed, you get these banners and leaflets or whatever. It's not surprising that there's like a constant attack to damage the image of Muslims. So, people sometimes deliberately distort, they constantly distort many Islamic concepts and beliefs. But the bottom line is, coming back to Ryan's point, and that is we shouldn't entertain such people. And it's quite disturbing because, I mean, me personally, I don't attend Speaker's Corner regularly. It's, once in a blue moon, I might go down. But, last time I went, I noticed that there was Muslims entertaining Islamophobes. And I thought to myself, why are you doing this? What is your intention in doing this? Is your intention sincere? Are you actually doing it for the religion? If you're actually doing it for the religion, then there's a time and place. And why would you're fuel for their propaganda? That's what you are. You fuel for their propaganda. And as Ryan said, Muslims are to blame. And personally, myself, I think such people should be totally ignored.
I'll give you something, right? Yeah, I was talking to my mother-in-law the other day, and she was talking to me. We had a problem. I was talking to her about it, and she was telling me that Islam's very hard. This is a woman that grew up in. She was born in Shah Iran, and then went through the whole war thing, and with Khomeini and everything like that. You know what I mean? She's a big supporter of Iran, all this kind of stuff, and whatever, right? At the heart, very beautiful. She's gone through a lot of stuff, right? Telling me that Islam is very hard. When I converted to this religion, I started off as a Qurani, right? Then I studied Sunnism, practiced that for a bit. Then I became a 12er. Non-Muslims were more accepting of me being a Muslim than Muslims. So I think what Muslims need to start doing is start looking at themselves more. And that's the whole point of the religion, is to reflect on ourselves.
100%.
We're supposed to reflect on ourselves every day. And we're doing so much stupid crap. I'll give you another example. Before the media gave a crap about Muslims and talking about them all the time, that was 2001, 9/11. That's when it all kicked off. That's when it really got bad, right? In 2000, in Sydney, Australia, we had a thing called the SMS rapes, which is where a bunch of Lebanese, only referred to as Lebanese, would go out, proven fact. This isn't like, blowing something out of proportion, whatever. It was disgusting. They went out looking for girls as young as 14 that were Anglo-Australian and just raping them in groups. And they would message each other via SMS text. We had the guy that run the group, his name was Bilal. Others in the group, I think, were Ahmed, etc., etc. So it was a Muslim problem already. Now, it's not just Muslims that do this stuff. There's crackerjacks that do it. There's Indians that do it. There's Asians that do it. All this kind of. But I don't give a crap, man. I'm Muslim. I care what my community is doing. I joined this community, and I care what we're doing. It's easy to point the finger at other people, but what we need to start doing is really assessing what we're doing. When people are talking crap about, yeah, man, go.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to, I think, because you're saying a lot of, like, really on par points, and I think it'd be very easy for anyone who is a Muslim to be viewing this and taking a very kind of, like, not a victim complex, but just in a sense of, like, it may sound that there's an element of victim blaming or anything, and I really just want to hit home that that's not necessarily the point. Now, for me personally, I'm asking you, when are you buying your ticket to the UK? Because we need more speakers like yourself in Speaker's Corner. Because the truth is, you're absolutely...
He's coming soon. He's coming soon.
But no, seriously.
I'm trying to get this guy from UK for a hot minute, man.
No, but seriously, just in the sense that we all came to the corner.
Dixie on me.
We all came to the corner, right? Because I have a sneaky suspicion that all of us want to better the world. And he's absolutely right. What are we doing by giving Tan fuel? How is that bettering the world, right? And for me personally, I'll as well play devil's advocate, just in the sense that these little pockets of fringe groups and hate groups, etc. The reason that they've risen up is because people have ignored them for so long. So if it does seem that we're over kind of like magnifying this case in particular, it's because these people have been allowed to rise to power because people haven't addressed their problems, haven't addressed their issues, and haven't actually met them on a, what's the word, I guess a debating platform they've claimed in the past. Now, we've given them that opportunity and they've demonstrated that they don't want to debate. They're just here for hate. So I think it was our responsibility as people who want to better the world to kind of address that point so that when we do move on into the future, they don't have that point of, people just ignored our arguments. No, we met them.
Which is now, this is the point. And this conversation has made the whole topic and the whole hangout worthwhile, because this introspective look is what is required for us to be actual functioning members of society, and it requires everyone to be introspective. So for me and my perspective, you see, and inshallah, like other people can benefit from this. For me, the question is, what are Islam's supreme goals? What's the purpose of doing prayer, fasting, zakat and whatnot if we're going to be triggered every 2 seconds? For me, we see the supreme goals within Islam are 7, and they're very easy. They're piety, mercy, pondering, remembrance, active guidance, cognitive guidance, and finally, success. So all of these, the term that's used is la'allakum, so that you may, right? Fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for the people before you, so that you may achieve taqwa. So that's a goal. Yeah? You can have it, and you can understand it like this. And this is what I'm saying. These supreme goals are not at the behest of any one particular group or faction. All right. So this is the thing, if we have this introspective look, then, and we come to the Quran as students, and we come as students seeking the truth, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easier for us, inshallah.
I'll tell you a point too, right? So in 12 verses, we have Usul ad-Din and Furu' ad-Din. Okay, and so 2 of the Furu' ad-Din is Tawalla and Tabara. Okay, and
Furu' ad-Din.
Yeah. So Tawalla is to have love for the Prophet and his family, peace be upon them, and Tabara is to dissociate from any of their enemies. Now, I got Sunnis on the panel. Everyone knows my opinion on certain figures in history, etc., etc. We're not going to get into that, right? But based off what we know, right, we're supposed to take the people out of it for a second. You have to look at the actions and the examples that they led in life, right? And so anything that the Prophet ﷺ did, that's something that you love and that you associate with, and something that happened against him or his family, right? Or labeled as, even if you don't think it happened, like if say, for example, right, everyone should know what the 12ers stance on what happened with Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam when she died. Whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. But it was the thing that happened was violence against women. Okay, this is something that we as Muslims should have full dissociation with. But it's something that will come up when I talk to brothers and sisters a lot, when they come to and they talk to me privately, and all this kind of stuff. These are all, Islam is Islam is made for white people, man. Like it's so weird, you know what I mean? You look at the country that you guys are living in. You're living in the UK. You got a welfare system. That's the most Islamic thing in the world. Muslim countries don't have this.
True.
You know what I mean?
You're saying Muslim countries don't have it, but Islam promotes it.
Of course it does. Of course it does. What's your zakat for? Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah. What it sounds like exactly what you're saying. What Ziyad was saying is that Qasas al-Anbiya, the stories of the prophets in the Quran, the reason that they're there, the stories of the prophets, or like you mentioned about the prophet's family, don't look at the personalities, look at the actions and see, look, these actions are what we need to be doing. So if you're seeing something good in history, when Allah's talking about Pharaoh and Moses, he's not doing it as a story, just as a storyteller where you listen to it. He's saying, listen, don't do the actions of Pharaoh, do the actions of Moses.
That's it.
Sorry, just on a beautiful point that Raza made as well. Just elaborating further. At the end of the day, look, whether you follow a religion or you know, whether you follow laws of religion or whether you follow laws of the government, okay, you can't escape following laws. Okay, as Muslims, we believe that Islam offers the best solutions for society, but unfortunately, you know, people don't see that. And as Muslims, you're right, we are to be blamed, and you know, we need to really start acting up.
You know
Sayyid Ali, can I ask a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, bro.
If that's all right, yeah. This is perhaps it's a question for you, but more so for the people, the Sunnis who go to Speaker's Corner, who are going to be listening, and I'm hoping some of the thought leaders that will go there regularly.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with what Brother Ryan said about introspection, and alhamdulillah, that was a beautiful point and stuff.
Yeah.
But the reality is that the people who go and will approach Tan are not going to be listening to people like Raza, you, or me. Do you understand? You know what I'm getting at. They're going to go up to they. So it's important. There's important leadership that needs to be had from responsible people at you know, at Speaker's Corner. Even Rajiv will have a limited say on that. The other thing I'd like to say is that the other problem is that you've got people who are being filmed that shouldn't be filmed. So you've got people like the ISIS guys, you know, those two guys. And for me, I know there's this thing about, oh, I film everything, I'm fair to everyone. I think that's unethical.
Yeah.
Because you're getting people, youngsters across the world that might be influenced by these guys, just as they might be influenced by Tan, or you know.
Of course, your decisions and your actions, you know, play a big role, especially at the park, as you said. You know, let's be realistic. Most of the world media is actually there. A lot of the tension's actually there, regardless of what country you're from. I mean, look at Ryan. He's literally on the other side of the world. He's in Australia.
Yeah,
so your actions in the park, and this is not just Muslims, even the non-Muslims, the way they conduct themselves in the park, they need to be very careful, because their actions could potentially lead to deaths of other innocent people.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And
so as Muslims and non-Muslims, the bottom line is, look, people need to start fixing up. Muslims need to stop giving these people attention. And just totally ignore them. And this is advice I give to even all the brothers who I'm speaking to now on the panel. We need to be telling people, ignore them, don't give them the time of the day. You know, we've addressed the issue, take the legal option, you know, take the legal avenue if needed. But yeah, I mean, you know, what more can you say?
But say that they don't listen. I was at the park, I think 3 weeks ago, and when Tan came out of his ninja costume, and these men were chasing him. I was sitting there shouting at them, don't chase him, don't give him attention. They don't care.
I don't want to mention no names, but it's interesting because I actually had a non-Muslim person standing right behind me on speaker. I've never met this guy. He's a good brother. I hope he's actually listening to this, because apparently he listens to the channel and the shows and stuff. But he goes to me, brother, this is the first time I've attended the park. But after actually seeing these people, I actually know what they're about. And there's no sincerity inside them whatsoever. And he goes, I'm not even a Muslim. And I'm witnessing this myself, and this is the honest truth. So if this is a guy who's a pure onlooker, so if an onlooker is you know, he's blatantly saying that, look, we shouldn't be entertaining these people. I'm in absolute agreement. We shouldn't be. And you know, as I said, sorry, just on the last point, you know, I don't want to mention no names of famous speakers, but there was famous speakers on the park that day, and they were actually entertaining Islamophobes. And I thought to myself, what are you guys doing? And then you had crowds of people, you know, following them, getting the attention, and this is exactly what they want.
I advised them as well. I did advise them as well about this. Those same brothers that you're talking about. But you know what? As a summary now, because it's getting a bit late now. You know, it's exactly what Ryan said. I think Ryan gave us some strong, thought-provoking words where he made us reflect upon ourselves. You know, while we looked at the issue, I spent a lot of time. You know, we spent a lot of time discussing all of these concepts, but I think the end part really summed it up, where we're like, look, we've discussed them a lot. Now we've discussed them. Now look at the mirror and look at yourself. It's about self-reflection. As a Muslim, we should be self-reflecting daily. Like the Prophet said, when you look at evil, look at it within yourself. When you find one, then look for the second one. Then look for the third one. Then look for the fourth one. Meaning, keep looking at it amongst yourself, so that you don't have time to look at it so you don't have time to look at others. So the point here was to self-purify. And what Zaryab said, what Ryan said, all the brothers were saying, objectives. What is the objective? When Allah says pray and give zakat, the objective is so that you better yourself. You know, you can't be praying and giving and fasting and giving charity and still being swearing, messing around, fighting, because you're not realizing the objective. God doesn't need your charity. God doesn't need your prayer. He does it so that you may become a better person. It's for you. So now, you know, sorry, I think I want to say something. Rajib, go for it. Before we go.
Oh no, sorry. You kind of like lagged out for a second, so I was like, oh, where's Roz gone?
Yeah, no. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the final thoughts from each person before we end off. I'll go last. We'll go starting off with Saracen.
I'm going to keep it short. I'll just say Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you, Raza. Respect all the brothers on the panel and everyone that's listening. And hopefully we can have more of these productive conversations in the future. Assalamu alaikum.
Over to Jacob.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I think Ryan made brilliant points at the end where he told us to reflect on ourselves and understand that pan is an issue we've created because we've given him the attention. So now we shouldn't be surprised that he's getting all radical and doing all these things. We shouldn't have given him attention to begin with. So yeah, I agree 100%. We should reflect on ourselves. Great show though, guys.
Alhamdulillah. Cool. Pass it over to you, Ryan.
So thanks for having me on Raza TV. Really appreciate it.
Raza TV, yeah.
Big ups to everyone else that came on. That was really cool that you guys did that. As I said at the very beginning when I started talking, it's, you know, there is positives in this, and you know that we all came together just to have this chat, and you know it's good that end it with a solution. And one thing I will add is that, you know, we have a narration as well. It says that from our books, from our 12 books, you know, you are to invite people through your akhlaq to this deen. You know what I mean? You don't go around saying, oh, this is how it is. This is how it is. That's not the best way to do it. You show people that this is the best way to live your life, and then they'll be attracted to it. You don't get into like all the, you know, the semantics of what Tawheed is or what all this kind of stuff. People will just want to learn about it once they get into it. You know, that's how for most people. But you want all the Muslims to be doing it. So you don't want anyone that's being, you know, a bad representation of Islam and thus all the prophets, because that's not it won't work. So you have to get them to do something, but to tell them anything, you have to be good yourself, because you'd be a hypocrite otherwise.
Very good.
You know what I mean? So we all need to really work on ourselves. No, I've got heaps of room to work on. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. Even my brother, you know, he'll see me slip up, and he's like, he's a non-Muslim. He's like, don't you dare be a little munafiq. He's my little brother. You know what I mean? And so my Christian family will even pour me in line and stuff if I say something that's they know is not Islamic or something like that, or if they feel like I'm being a hypocrite, you know, and blah blah. And you know, these are people that, you know, they're Christian. They will buy me halal food.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They'll, you know, all this kind of stuff. They cook halal so I can eat with the family. You know what I mean? And we have to remember too that we're all living in the West. Everyone that's here is living in the West. If you know, you hear like right wingers and stuff say like, "Oh, this wouldn't fly. We're in a non-Muslim country." Certain things that they do wouldn't fly in a Muslim country. You know what I mean? So we also have to respect where we are to an extent. I'm not saying just let me run over and all this kind of stuff and blah blah blah, but just be wary of where you are as well. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's all I have to say. We all have it really good in the West, man. Seriously, like we have problems and stuff like that. I talked before about homelessness in Australia. You know, you have, you know, horrible homelessness in the UK as well. You got drug epidemics that are affecting all the communities, all of our kids. No one's safe from it. You know what I mean? But compared to other countries in the world, you're way better off in the West. You know, we're so lucky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's blessed us. This is a test on us to be able to use this privilege that we have in the West. Even if you guys having immigrant backgrounds struggle more than other people, you still have it better there than you would in other countries. Likewise for me, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. So we have to really look at that, look at ourselves, You know what I mean? I have it better off than all of you because I'm white and I can do all these things. So I accept that and I have to use that. You know what I mean? I get that. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But you know, inshallah ta'ala, everything will work out. You know, life's not easy. I'll finish with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he would walk down the street, people would throw rocks at him, and he just kept on walking. You know what I mean? So when you see people doing things that are just beyond comprehension, you know what I mean? There's two ways you can go about it. But as Muslims, there's the Islamic way to go about it. You know, and we're not animals. We're not going to do what others have done, where they've gone and met with other animals in a park and then fought. You know what I mean? We're not doing that.
We have to follow the sunnah of our prophet.
You know what I mean? So we're doing it to respect the final prophet and all the prophets that came before him.
And all the prophets that came before him. We honor all of them, 100%. Ryan,
you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Rizal, it's amazing. Rizal, just on the last point, yeah? It's absolutely amazing that Ryan actually brought that point up. I was going to actually bring that point up. And just to elaborate further, this woman used to throw stones at the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him and his family. And once she didn't throw stones, and what did he do? He went and inquired about her. He went and checked up, where's that woman gone? There's a woman who's thrown stones at me. So, you know, there's definitely morals that we can learn from the seerah of the Ahl al-Bayt, the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And really, as Muslims, we really need to start implementing that. And people will come to Islam for what it is. And we need to really stop, you know, misrepresenting it. And
there's a rapper, I don't listen to rap and stuff anymore, but there was a rapper from the UK called Lady Sovereign, right? She has a lyric in one of her songs called Love Me or Hate Me, It's Still an Obsession. And the funny thing about love and hate is they can very much be on the border of each other. You know what I mean? They can be. There's a fine line between the two things. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can. You know what I mean? Like
Ryan, I don't mean to interrupt you because I'm going to shoot off very soon. I just want to make a quick point. So, in terms of freedom of speech, who's to say that total freedom of speech is necessarily a healthy thing for society? There has to be a certain framework of freedom of speech.
It has one already.
Sorry?
The country actually, we already established the country actually has a
Exactly.
It's them going against the law, not us. All right, alhamdulillah, brothers, thank you for that.
You guys.
Now we've got, just before we finish off, just to go to Zaryab and then to Rajiv and I'll close off. So Zaryab.
Yes, my brother. I'm going to just succinctly say that we gain our characteristics primarily from the Quran and then from the seed of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and then from his holy family and so on. And then it's gradations. And so I'm going to point towards Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 3, where the characteristics of the believers are set out in a number of verses. But verse 3 says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, and those who stay away from what is vain or vain talk. You get me? Baseless talk. They stay away from it. So that's the crux, and that is the spirit of what we were saying in terms of solutions at the end of the discussion. And I'd like to thank all the panel members, and mashallah, this is very positive, and it's in the context of building bridges. So mashallah, let's just keep it on the positive one and keep going.
MashaAllah, bro. Zaryab, always good to hear your thoughts, man. Always bringing the love and those Quranic narratives, always. Brother Rajiv, man, take it away, bro.
Right, for once I'm actually speechless. Like you guys have kind of set the departing bar kind of like high. I can't even I think everything has just been said, just in the sense that this is probably one of the most productive talks I've seen from the collective speakers corner for a long time. And again, it's even just on the ending message, talking about the issue, going through it, arming other people out there in the world with adequate defenses, so when they meet people like this in the park, they can defend themselves. They don't feel like they have to act out, they don't have to be violent, etc. So while I definitely agree with like Ryan's point, like we need to start tackling the bigger issues, the more important things, and let the tans of this world just fade away into irrelevance as they normally did. Like I said, like we can have another show about it where I talk about the kind of like psychology behind people like Tan. But Ryan touched up on a point saying that these aren't the people that are going to change anything. These aren't the people that are going to better our spiritualities as people who are believers. And for me personally, as someone who is still learning and still wants to get to that point where I can call myself like a firm believer, like this is all just a distraction. It's a waste of time, and you know, it does not benefit me spiritually or on my path on hoping to get to heaven, right? Or bettering my family circumstance. Like, it does nothing for me. So I want to thank Ryan for grounding and bringing some perspective to the whole discussion. But I want to thank the rest of the panel as well for coming out and just, again, not driving themselves into sensationalism, addressing this with rationality, addressing this with, you know, a calm and collective kind of like approach. And again, coming up with a solution, which you rarely see in any of these conversations. And if we can reach people across the world, even, let's just say even the Muslims at the park, right? It will set a precedent. And I promise you, more people will start coming to the park and we'll get better conversation. I can already see it happening. So I just want to thank everyone for, one, having me, and two, being the change that they want to see.
Respect, bro, respect.
Great words there, man. Big words by everyone on the panel. You know, we discussed that it was a difficult narrative. It was a frustrating narrative, you know, but I feel like the fruits came out at the end. Everyone gave their take on it. We had a Quranic narrative. We took from the Quran. We took from the Sunnah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We took from Aql. We took from the Urf where we live. We incorporated all of that and we came to a solution. And, you know, we kept it respectful at the same time, man. So, alhamdulillah, thank you for everyone coming and everyone giving their take on it. And, you know, as I'll say, that even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he talks in the Quran, when he says to Nabi Musa, that when you go and speak to Pharaoh, speak to him softly. As in, for Allah to say that to Nabi Musa, to Pharaoh, there's no one worse than Pharaoh in this world, is there? But what does Allah say about Nabi Musa when he goes to speak to Pharaoh? Speak to him softly. Maybe he might just come around. You know, that was the intent. Maybe he might just, and this guy's saying he's God. So, you know, let's keep those morals in mind of all the Anbiya and Khususan, especially our Prophet, and keep those Islamic principles. I want to thank all the viewers that came on today, everyone that showed their support, all the Sunnis that came on, all the Shias, everyone busted. I had a couple man that come on the show, on the live chats that normally troll the hell out of me. But today they were here. Today they were here showing love. So you get me, salute to all you, man, as well. Innit? So it was all good today, man. I'm happy. And inshallah, this is going to be one of many. And I'll just say right at the end, I'll say to brother Rajiv as well, that you mentioned about the two brothers. You mentioned Hijab and Ali Dawa. I would say carry on telling them to keep this narrative and maybe give them this same advice that we've reached today about not entertaining these people, as that will be the most productive thing that we can do, inshallah, because I know hopefully they'll listen to that as well. So with that, to all the Bayat Ghadeer viewers and everyone, all the people on the panel, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you lot. And inshallah, we'll see you lot soon. Like and subscribe this video. I'm still seeing not enough likes, but you know what? It's not even much about that today. You like it, you like it. You don't. It is what it is. Inshallah, we'll see.
That's what we like to hear.
But I don't even care about the likes too much. I care about the content. Mashallah.
Good.